Man, I don't even know. Yo, welcome back, everybody. We live tonight. I'm still, I'm still adjusting and doing things. That's Chad you looking at,
What up?
and that's what's it? I got new streaming software. So I'm still learning it a little bit. I also need to kind of watch this in real time just to be sure it's uh looks good, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Chad, what you been up to, bro?
I can't
As
even
we
help but bob my head when I'm listening to this music. I'm just sitting here like this, geeking out.
I don't. I mean, it is good. I ain't gonna lie, but I mean,
Li-
also, you
Life's
know,
good, man. Life's good. Life's treating me good. I just got back from a 2-week trip to New Mexico to I don't even know what to call it, but just this 1 mile long main street of a town in a hotel that I'm pretty sure is a cartel money
cartel
laundering.
ran.
Yeah, cartel ran money laundering scheme. Um,
Well, that's a lot of allegedly, and I hear from people, um, that's here. That's here also.
Yeah, but I don't see it here. And I lived in it over there. My hotel room had more holes in the wall than it did tiles on the floor, man. Yeah.
Damn, where's your work putting you up at? That doesn't sound good.
Yeah. So I was outside of about 30 minutes outside of White Sands Missile Range.
Oh, like in Alamogordo?
Okay, so that would be south of where I was. I was in Socorro
Okay.
or Socorro.
Oh, look at
Yeah.
you! Look at you!
You have to say it like that there or you get shot. I saw 2 people go down for saying it the wrong way. So I was just
Really?
like, all right, no.
I mean, okay. Wow.
Bullshit.
Okay. I actually lived in Alamogordo there.
Did you really?
Yeah, when I
I'm
was
sorry.
so I was like, let me see, because I was born in Phoenix. After that, I lived in Phoenix for a few months. Then my family moved to like New York, like Long Island. I was there for some months, like
Yeah.
less than a year, I think. Yeah, because between 2 years, I was born in '86. It was 2 years until my younger brother was born, and he was born in Alamogordo, New Mexico.
How do you go from Alamogordo, New Mexico to Long Island, New York?
No, we went from Long Island to
Oh,
Alamogordo.
okay. Got it.
How? I don't know. Like that's you gotta think like this is the '80s. Times are different. And like I mean, think.
So
Well,
I was in Socorro, and I promise you that there has not been a thing done in that town since the 80s.
probably.
So I feel like I have a good idea of how
So,
you grew up.
and then I lived there from probably like it was like 2 years old, right? 2 years old until 9, like fourth grade in between fourth and fifth grade. That summer, we moved back to Phoenix, where my mom was originally from and where she met my dad. Um, in the Gary, what's up? Gary's in the chat. What's up, Gary?
What's up, Gary?
And so like when I was a kid there, like when you're a kid that age, right? Everything was good. It was fucking dope. I was kid, it's that you could ride your bike all around town. No one fuck with you. It was the old school when the lights came on, you needed to be home. It was throwing the football in the street,
Right.
getting out of the way of cars. We did have a lot of shitty neighbors, uh, just different things like that. But it was cool. We went back, went like a year, 2 years after. It was what was it? 2 years after, something like that. My grandfather died, my dad's stepdad, and then so we went to Texas to handle everything, and we were road tripping back home to Phoenix, and we stopped in Alamogordo and stayed like in a hotel there, like a hotel I remember passing and seeing like regularly,
Right.
And then it was like, and just in like a year or two, it was like, man, this place seems shitty, right? And like, I mean, I was still young. I'm like 10, 11, but like the my preteen years and like everyone like wow like ugh but then other siblings I think were still like oh my god like this is such a cool great place still and it was like no it's not like this is a shithole and now looking back it was like damn but I think it still is a shithole probably maybe I don't know definitely compared to where I'm at now
Right.
and as you saw on your trip there you're probably feeling the same but it's one of those, I don't know. It's weird. It's like weird looking at that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I don't want to shit on Socorro too much. just because I'm scared mostly. Like I feel like somebody's gonna come find me. But the people there were nice, right? All of them, except for the crackhead that was outside of my room at like 4:30 in the morning trying to fight a water bottle.
Trying to find a water bottle.
Yeah, he was pacing this water bottle like saying some shit like, "Say it again, bitch, I'm gonna fucking kill you." And I woke up and I was like, "God damn it, this dude's in my room." Okay, he wasn't in my room. He didn't crawl through one of the holes in the wall. That was good, right? But I peeped out the door and he's pacing in a circle. But I don't see the person that he's fighting with. So I waited till his back was to me and I peeked out the window and he's no shit. He's pacing a water bottle. So the guys I was working with was like, "Man, you should have opened the door, kicked the water bottle through the parking lot and been like, get him, he's trying to run." Yeah, but I mean, the people were nice enough. The food was all right when the restaurants were open.
Really? You didn't think the food, like Mexican food?
I mean, it was all green chili, right? Green chili, anything. And it was good. I'm not going to complain about it. Like I said, the food was good. The people were nice. Just, I did not like being there. We were working from 8 p.m. to 8 in the morning. So most of the time I was sleeping during the day. And the second day I was there, they decided to start resurfacing the parking lot. And the crew that was doing that parked their freaking tar vat, right?
Yeah.
Right. I could touch that thing from my door if I wanted to. So when I was trying to sleep, they're out there working and the generator's going right. And I was just like, "Calm the fuck on."
That's funny.
Yeah, no, it wasn't funny.
Yeah, I mean, now it is. That's funny. We got Austin Lennox. I think he's calling you the bitch, Chad. Is that your friend?
Yeah, probably.
What's up, Austin? Thanks for joining us tonight.
I get that a lot.
Gary, worst place he's ever lived is Jacksonville off of University. Duval. Yo. Duval is a place.
Yeah.
Never been there.
Yeah.
Never been there, but I've known some people from there. And they're a different type of breed, I think, down there in Florida.
Yeah, man. I mean, you could look at any podcast or any show, and most of the stupid stories from the news come from Florida.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Zombie eating Tide Pod people, you know. But talking about shitty places, I just got back from my first week of underway. First time.
He's a chief, by the way. His first week underway.
Well, I mean.
And he's a chief.
I hadn't been underway since 2017.
Yeah, I know.
Right? So that's fucking 5 years.
Yeah.
Just short of, whatever. We'll round up. 5 years. The only other time I went underway was a month ago, February. I went underway for overnight, not even 24 hour. Like, literally, we got there at like noon and got off. Well, I guess 24, like 1600 the next day, right? And that day it wasn't too bad, right? We're out there doing like helo ops and shit, and I was getting some PQS signatures for HCO and this and that, and it was cool, whatever. At that time, the other crew had it, right? So everyone knows the kind of ship I'm on. We do blue and gold, and
yeah, but so you did a turnover, so you guys could go underway for a day and then came back.
No, that there wasn't a turnover. That was just me
going out with you.
For training, for like personal, like needing my PQS signed and shit.
I understand.
That was mid-February. A week later, our like 1 week turnover started, right? And I'm not gonna get into too many details, because I don't want to offend people too much.
I doubt it.
But you might get offended, and as my boy Gary says in the chat, if it touches your heart, then please don't forget to subscribe and share with someone else so it can touch their heart too. Okay, and so we do the turnover. Supply department straight. Right, I mean, we had a good turnover, me and my counterpart. Right, there wasn't too many things jumping off in the 2-3 weeks now that I've been there. They're like, oh my God, he didn't tell me shit about. Right, which sometimes things are just gonna fall through the cracks.
Absolutely,
it happens. Right, so asking you, because you being a submariner, right?
Yeah, I like that. Thank you.
Yeah, you did blue and gold.
I did my whole career. At sea.
My first time doing blue and gold, holy fuck, there are some skeletons in the closet.
Yeah.
And I won't get into it. I just want to hear your skeletons, like what you went through, like what your turnover process was like, and then I'm gonna share mine, Because I just want to hear like from you who did it your whole career. Where me, I'm just this fucking noob to it. Is this just like regular standard shit?
So yes, it's regular standard shit, right? That's always going to happen. I think the relationship that you have with the individual that you're turning over with
Yeah.
plays the biggest role in that process more than anything else. Because if they have a respect for you, if they have a care for you, if they have befriended you in any way, they're going to be looking out a little bit more for that turnover process when it starts, making sure that they got everything in order and they're ready to go and ready to receive, ready to turn something over that they would be willing to receive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
And so, like you said, there's skeletons in the closet. There's things that are going to fall through the cracks, and that's going to happen regardless, because there's so much that you're responsible for, right? So it's almost impossible to keep track of everything, right?
Sure.
The biggest goal in that turnover process is not to screw that person over that you're turning over to, right? Unless you dislike that person, then I mean we go from there, right? You can imagine the pettiness. I assume you can imagine the pettiness that can get involved there, right? And how you could
So let me interrupt.
please.
No, I cannot fucking imagine the pettiness. Right? I cannot imagine where because and maybe this like although I can be very fucking petty,
Yeah,
okay?
you're one of the most petty people I know.
Yes.
So like I'm imagining turning over with you, and I pissed you off last time. What am I gonna get this time?
You're going to get the best product and all the information that I could possibly give you because I am not a bitch,
Okay, that's
right? Because I am not going to give you any room to talk any shit about the operation I run.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's good.
You know what I mean? And again, I want to say like me and my counterpart, we're good.
Yeah.
Right? There's some things I didn't know about. It's nothing that's fucking,
End of the world.
end of the world, sending out Cat 4s or anything, right? If you know what Cat 4 is, you know what it is, right? But like there's nothing like that. Now, but I'm a small department. It's just supply, fucking little booger eaters. That's us, right? Like who cares about them? We don't even have a real department head. It's just the chief, fucking faking it up there with the three swos and the captain. You know what I mean? Like, it's like so what is supply, right? Although everyone knows we are the most fucking important out there. What?
You're pretty damn important. Yeah. So
The most, I said.
I was actually gonna say, for a submarine, right? Supply and radio would be two of the key turnovers that the captain has to pay attention to. Radio for the fact that the crypto stuff.
Right. Yep.
So that has to be in line, right? That everything right there has to be good to go. I would imagine supply would be the same thing, right? Like you have to know that the department that you're taking over from didn't set you up for failure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, so here's the difference with that, right? Is where you're at on a sub, you guys have a chop.
Mm-hmm.
You have a chief. You have maybe what 2 junior LSs,
possibly 2. Yeah, most of the time it's 1, but sometimes you get 2.
but you do have a chop.
Yes, we have a supply officer,
Right?
chief.
Yeah, I don't.
Right.
It's just me. Which isn't a big deal, right? I'm good with it. But also, you guys do all of your supply work on board, right? And what I mean by like our supply, right? The flow of ordering the parts, and then your LS is breaking the part out and doing everything internal.
If we have it on board, yeah.
Well, you have if you have the part on board, but you have the system to do it on board.
Correct.
I don't have that system on board. I have a whole team of like civilians and a first class chief and our readiness officer, Lieutenant Suppo side, that does all of that for me over in the building, in the FLC building, right? So
basically you do nothing.
I do nothing. I'm a glorified.
I meant that as an insult, and then you just grabbed onto it.
I'm a glorified RPPO, repair parts petty officer, chief, department head, more.
Okay.
I don't do shit. And what little bit I do, it's easy. I'm laughing at it. But what I'm saying is so my turnover was very simple. It was very organized. Again, my counterpart had things set up. I had things set up. We did it. We executed. Boom, we're done. I would say supply department is one of the less important ones. Some of the more important ones, let's think about it. Engineering.
Okay. Status of equipment.
I don't know. Status of equipment, making sure that shit's working within spec, like things like that. Right?
Yeah.
And if they're not, what you got to do the proper
But
procedures and so when things are going through and happening and it's like, oh, there I just think of when there's skeletons in the propulsion system that aren't out there, that's a problem. And I just want to know, like, did you, not personally, because you're in radio, but like, was that a major issue in your career that you saw from the engineering side?
I, so from the engineering side, no, I didn't see it because I didn't live it. You know what I mean? So I don't want to speak to anything ignorantly um, on that front. But from a radio perspective, absolutely. There was a radio that didn't work and you didn't know it didn't work. And so you spend 12 hours troubleshooting, but they've already done 24 hours of troubleshooting. Why did I just waste my guy's time? You know what I
Right.
mean? Why did
Yeah.
I waste my time?
Yeah.
This shit should have been on order a long time ago, which is where supply comes in, right?
Right.
So that's why I say when it comes to engineering, I would imagine, and again, this is just speculation because I don't know. I'm not an engineer and I'm not trying to speak for any of them, but they got logs for everything, right?
Yeah. You have an engineering log.
And there's a trend analysis that happens through those logs, right? So if a piece of equipment or a piece of machinery is degrading, that should not be a secret to anybody, right? Because as that equipment degrades, that gets reported to the engineer reports it to the captain is going to turn that over to the incoming captain. Okay, should, right? Turn that over to the incoming captain. But this shit happens all the time. There's people trying to save face. There's people trying to not get in trouble or not get blasted for not doing something they should have done.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
So you saw that regularly.
absolutely.
So this is how it goes.
Yeah, it's blue crew gold. So they always say there's 3 crews to a 2-crew ship.
Oh,
well, for us, it
fuck.
was submarine, right?
Yeah.
To a 2-crew submarine, there's 3 crews. There's a blue crew, there's the gold crew, and then there's the other crew. Who's the other crew? The other crew is the crew that doesn't own the shit right now, right? So if blue crew has the boat and they just took it from the gold crew,
Mm-hmm.
blue crew's gonna say, well, these gold crew guys fucked us, right?
Yeah.
And then gold crew's gonna say, nah, it wasn't us, it was the other crew, right? And that just gets volleyed back and forth. Figure it out.
How's this fucking maintainable or operational or anything? Like, how did you put up with that for as long as you did? How is it acceptable? I'm bro. Look again, first time blue gold. I don't fucking get it. I think the Navy should do away with it completely, right the fuck now, for submarines and everyone else, and put one fucking crew on every ship, on every boat, on everything, and ride out.
Yeah. Or
Tell me why I'm stupid.
I don't think you're stupid. I think that more accountability, right, would solve the problem. Right. So when there is an issue like that, don't just let it disappear when the problem is solved. Right. Let's isolate the problem and get rid of the problem. Right. So submarines, we say integrity is everything, right? And not that everybody on a submarine is the most integrity having individuals, right, in the Navy, because we're all human, right? So if we are able to identify the problem, who caused the problem or didn't turn over the problem, so you had to discover it a month later when you're getting ready to get underway, and now all of a sudden, like, oh shit, this was powered down this whole time that we've been in turnover. They told me it was good, it's not, and then you find out for 3 months it hasn't been working. Why did you get this? You know what I mean? From me in radio, my biggest problem was crypto. Crypto is an absolute nightmare.
That's the CO inventory. You're gonna go down there with them.
It's one of the.
You're gonna get turnover with both.
It's one of the biggest reasons that I did not want to go back out to sea from this last shore duty, because knowing the position I was in, I was gonna be the EKMS manager, and that shit scares me. I almost went to mast when I first got to the Ohio as the LPO for something that I knew nothing about. So when I was asked about it, and I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, really? You don't know what we're talking about? No, I don't. Do I have a signature associated with that piece of equipment anywhere? No? Okay, yeah. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I had a chief at the time. I'm not going to say his name, but he was a piece of shit.
Name drop him.
I'm not name dropping.
Name drop that motherfucking piece of shit.
We don't do that on the Bravo City podcast.
Yeah, we do. Well, I mean, sometimes I edit them out, though, when JD messes up.
But anyway, this guy tried to blast me, and he did it trying to, like through ignorance, this is how easily fucked up, right? He didn't do it on purpose. He did it because he's dumb, right? Well, that's not the case. And I fought that battle, and I won that battle. And that guy got removed from the boat because it was an EKMS thing. Lost confidence from the CO. Okay, good, problem solved. Until the guy that relieved him was a guy that I had history with, and we just didn't get along for 2.5 years. And he tried to pull the same shit on me before we went on our last underway. But at this time, I knew what was going on. There was no ignorance, right? So when the time came, we had a code book missing, right? Just missing. But it wasn't our code book. It was something that he had gotten from another command. Signed all the paperwork, right?
Yeah.
It was legit. It wasn't. Then tried to blame me when they lost their code book. He tried to blame me and say that it was my responsibility to give it back to him or do something with it, whatever. All the paperwork stopped with me after I turned over to him. So I did everything I was supposed to do, signed it over, it got turned over to him, shit went disappearing. 3 months later, I got a message saying, hey, we need you guys to look for this book. Captain had us rip every locker open from SES, which is the forwardmost spot on it.
Bow to stern.
Yeah, all the way back to the engine room. We had to go through every single locker. And just like when you do a security sweep and you tape every locker after you've opened it, every fucking locker on the boat, top to bottom. We didn't find it. I don't know what to tell you. So I went to DRB, went to XOI, and at XOI, by this time I had started doing some research on the manual for court-martial, right? Oh, dude.
You was ready.
I was ready because this asshole, he wouldn't even talk to me at this time, right? He would look away. Every time I started talking to him, he'd be biting his thumbnail and kind of looking away like, I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. But did the investigations when I got to the XO for XOI. I don't know if have you ever been to XOI?
No, come on.
So, shut up. So at XOI, you get to review the witness statements.
Yeah.
For the case. And so I read them all. And they had like 3 or 4 witness statements from every one of my guys in radio, including myself, and then also my senior chief, right, at the time. Everybody's were consistent with the exception of his. So at XOI, XO says, so what do you think I should do with this case? Easily. And I told him, I said, sir, I have a 6-year-old son, right?
Oh, you pulled the dad card?
Yep. And I said, if my 6-year-old son does something stupid, and I talk to him about it, right, he's going to lie to me. More often than not, if he's going to get in trouble, he's going to say some bullshit. I'm going to know that he's bullshitting me. I'm going to ask him again, and he's going to say something different, but still avoiding the truth.
Yeah.
Right? And so I can keep asking him.
He's going to shovel lie on top of lie.
And I said, if you look at these statements right here, these are all consistent. This is the only one that changes every single time his story has changed that he's been asked this question. I said, so this investigation needs to end with me involved and continue with him involved. And sure as shit, man. Sure as shit. The XO sat there he said, so what should I do with this case? And I said, sir, I strongly recommend you dismiss this case because if I go to NJP and I get busted, I am going to sound every alarm that I can to make sure that every bit of attention can be brought into this that needs to be. 30 seconds of the most awkward, miserable silence later, he dismissed my case. I transferred 2 weeks later on a BSP out of Guam. That senior chief ended up off the boat within a month.
You were chief at that time?
No, I was a first class.
Okay, so you fucked the senior chief over?
I didn't fuck him over. I held him to account.
Yeah, you go ahead, ET1. We easily get him, boy. Get him, boy. Get him, boy.
It's kind of a big deal. No, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Fuck his shit spinner.
Yeah, but the truth came out, right? The truth came out. He ended up admitting to what he had done.
Fucking cock.
Right. And so I told the XO when I was sitting in there, I was like, look, man, I got a mortgage to pay. I got 3 kids to take care of and a wife. Like, I'm not trying to screw myself up here.
Yeah.
This is all truth. Everything that I've given you is truth. Everything that this guy has turned in has been nothing but lie after lie after lie. Figure it out. And the XO did. And that dude was gone. Good for him. Fuck it.
What was his name again?
Yeah. Yeah, I would love to put it on blast because
He's not in. I'm sure he's retired by now and everything, right?
yeah, he was. I don't know if you call it forced retired or asked to retire, but yeah, he's out.
Yeah, that's good.
Very short.
Fuck people like that. I hate that shit. Yeah, I mean, it's like, I get it, right? Like I said, like skeletons. Like there's always gonna be something, right? I can understand falling through the cracks, right? Like, oops, yeah, fuck, hey, forgot that. I do, and you make a good point, great point of having a working relationship with the counterpart of the other crew, right? But it's still that crew whoever has it. It's our job, whoever has it, to be like, I want to make everything ready. I want to report everything the right way. And do it the right way that's supposed to be done.
You're absolutely right.
And I see no place where pettiness should even play a fact, no matter how much you dislike or might dislike your counterpart. No matter, and what I see, right, is like, I guess this is kind of like giving credit to the other crew, right? I don't know how it worked for like a pre-calming a sub. I'm sure it's something similar, right? But the pre-calming crew usually is on there for like 2 years, year and a half, 2 years initially, right? They're front loaded the absolute most time. They got to go pick it up. They got to sail it around. And then after that, they're still on board for a fucking year, whatever. And then they're going to be the first to deploy while the other crew's just been hanging out.
Not getting any of the experience that the other crew has.
Right. Definitely. Although, maybe some TAD sailors are going over and learning and getting PQSs signed off and, doing what they need.
You have to have people qualified.
Right. But, they're not standing the watches. Right. They're not all that. So I could see where the pettiness could build up from. But as a professional, I do not understand how like, it's like a reputation thing, right? Like, how could you be okay with something? How could you be okay knowing that something is messed up or something, not disclosing it? And say, I don't know what's been disclosed, not disclosed, or whatever. I just know that right now, like, there's proverbial shit hitting the fan in some different places, right? And I won't say into detail, right? But, like, it's just kind of like, what the fuck? Like, all this stuff? Like, how are we flying, like, on the supply side? How am I flying this many CAS reps in week 2?
Right.
And which is something I raise questions about. And because that's not a supply thing, right? We're just a middleman for it.
Right.
But when I was doing my turnover and I saw, like, here a list of CAS reps and I didn't see any parts associated with them, I threw red flags. Hold on, let me get you on camera for that. Do that face again. Right? I threw red flags. I was like, hell, and I threw them to all the people that I need to throw them to on my side.
Right.
Right? To their department. Hey, I'm tracking this many CAS reps for you. I have 0 parts associated with those. Captain, I'm conducting my turnover. We have this many CAS reps out. They're on various items. I've talked to the department heads. I have 1 part associated with the X number.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Right? And we don't got to get into detail of what that means and everything, right?
Yeah.
But I'm just sitting there like, that don't, like, what? What? And I hate CAS reps. I hate it. But I'm sitting there like, this shit, something don't add up.
Yo, trust me, I'm a radio man. I hate CAS reps as well. But I want to bring something to your attention too. So you have a good relationship, a good working relationship with your counterpart, right?
Mm-hmm.
The suppo on the other crew.
Yeah.
That's fine. Think about how many people you have under you.
1,
right?
really.
What?
I only have 1 LS, and then I got 3 cooks. We got 1 TAD right now.
Okay. So pretty much a submarine crew. I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. like I think about it, and not from a supply perspective. I can't speak to that because I don't know it. I've never been in that world. But you have dudes that work under you that are petty to the guys on the other crew, right? Because there's always hate, right? There's always that, oh, we're the crew that does everything, and then you guys just get to coast on this mission. You guys go do this ISAR mission, and we had to do this other bullshit, and da da da. So whatever, and there's animosity there, right? Or there's supposed to be like the support crew. I don't know if you guys do that.
No, it's just blue. It's just blue and gold.
So I don't even
on
know.
Off.
I don't even know if they still do it on GNs, right? But we did it for. I think we tried it like 4 or 5 turnover cycles where you do the turnover, right? And then when we do like an upkeep period, right, a maintenance period, MMP or whatever, you have a couple of dudes from the other crew that come to support, right? And they might support watches during the middle of the day, right? Like they're not staying overnight, right? And you're not trying to work them too hard, right? But they'll come support for a little bit. There's always that shit talking, right? Because they're the ones that are getting ready to clock out.
Yeah.
Right. And go back to the office and hang out. So they're like, oh, yeah, I can't fucking wait to do this, da 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 da. And then this dude is pissed off because he's like, oh, I'm getting ready to go out to sea. So shit happens there too, right? So me and you might have a great relationship and we're trying to be straight up with every detail that we can possibly think of to make sure that you're set up for success when you go. But there's these other dudes, he's like, fuck that guy. Fuck ET to somebody, right? I'm gonna hide this book, or I'm gonna move this, or I'm gonna.
Man, like I again, I have too much pride in my capabilities to do that to anyone else, and I know that at least my LS, right? Him and the other one LS, they're homies.
Yeah,
they're road dogs. Like they wouldn't do that shit to each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they've been grinding since like I think boot camp together. Yeah. Boot camp, A school, now on the same ship.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's rare. You know what
I mean?
Right,
right, for sure. And maybe other rates in there or something, maybe so.
And that could be a blessing and a curse at the same time, right? So those guys might have a tight relationship. You know what I mean? They might be working their asses off to make sure that they don't screw the other dude over. So at the same time, they could hate each other, right? They could not like each other at all. And they're like, ah, well, fuck you. It's your shit now. Figure it out, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what's fucked up with this. All right, well, whatever. It ain't mine anymore, so figure it out.
And I'm sure there's got to be some of that going on, right? It doesn't matter, yeah.
I'm telling you, that shit is going on. Whether it's going on at your level, you're saying it's not, and I believe you. Right.
Well, I know it is because there's been others. I've talked to other chiefs that have had sailors, and they've been like, because we're feeling like it's like that, right? So other junior sailors are already like, yo, can we do this back to them? Right. And it's like, but it's like, no, you cannot. Yeah. No, we will not.
So I know we got Austin in the chat right now. I want to ask him, whenever they did turnovers, did you ever have like we used to hide eggs in the bunk room, and not hard-boiled eggs, but raw eggs, right? So one of the first things you do after you submerge, like you get out, and then you do
it busts the fucking egg, doesn't it?
Yeah, and some of them just sit there for a long time.
You're fucked up.
Yeah, but it happened. So whether I'm fucked up or not, that shit happened, right? And so dude will be underway for a month, not even like thinking there's nothing else that these assholes did. Like, we got it all figured out. And then all of a sudden, you do some kind of angle, some way. You guys rock around on the surface. So
oh, my God. I got sick last night.
Yeah, that fucking sucks. I hate it. But on a submarine, right? So you rock, and all of a sudden, an egg drops, and it's an old-ass, stinky fucking egg. And that shit goes everywhere, right? So it was dumb shit like that, man. Or putting confetti bombs in ventilation, so it doesn't do anything until they.
But that's not maintenance and material readiness related.
No,
that's like practical
bullshit.
But it's like practical jokes. Like I could do with a practical joke and be like, all right, you got me, motherfuckers. I'm gonna get you back. Like I could think of that as tradition kind of stuff, right? Like I'm okay with that.
Okay.
I'm not okay with like opening
material conditions.
Yeah, like I'm not okay with opening sked on like week 1 And while me again, so like in full like disclosure, like I didn't go over sked because I know like we talked and it's like yeah, there's like 2 checks. We're supply like there ain't shit. Okay, all right, cool.
Check the door hinge to the
Yes.
office.
We'll get what Gary calling me what a loser. It's them little ass short legs I got for getting sick. We'll get into that. I didn't have my sea legs with me, I guess. We'll get into how bad this motherfucker rocks. Okay. Anyways, so I was like, all right, sked, whatever. Fuck it. Like I don't need to look at that shit because it ain't nothing. It ain't shit for supply. So I don't need to look at that shit. Okay. My fault. Okay. Only to find out that as ATG, we're starting our 13 weeks. Okay. ATG on board, inspecting our shit, giving training, which I always receive the training on sked and maintenance because I'm not a maintainer. That's not my realm. I don't do that shit. Okay. Only to find out we got 4 spaces in layup.
That's why he said you only got 2 checks because he put his shit in layup and didn't do any maintenance.
Well, he didn't put it in layup.
Okay.
Somebody else did. Somebody else signed off on it being in layup. Someone didn't take it out of layup.
Yeah.
When it should have been taken out of layup, and then the maintenance that was supposed to be conducted was not conducted because they're never taken out of layup, and it's still in layup. So I'm there sitting and then looking at periodicities and stuff. Oh, if it's not done by Friday, 4 A1 compartment checks, not too much, whatever. If it's not done by Friday, today's Wednesday, I lose them.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. And that's not on my counterpart. It's on the people that did it.
Well, let's be real. It's on you too, right? Because you
yes, and I didn't check it.
Yeah.
Right? I didn't check it. But then when you sit down and you're talking to all you're in the mess and you're talking about things, right? What stays in the mess?
Right.
Something, son, this is one of those I'll be like, no, this ain't going to stay in the mess. And then we're all discovering these things like that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Wait, hold on. Like, it's like Spider-Man, everyone pointing at each other. Everyone had maintenance pushed 2 weeks after turnover?
Yeah.
Is that, you experienced that too?
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. That was one of the longest turnover items. For radio was EKMS, right? But that's down to really 2 people per crew, the manager and assistant, right? And then maintenance. Maintenance was always a killer because as you are getting ready to pull in and do your turnover, right? The crew that's on is always like, okay, let's just defer that for 2 weeks or push it out a little bit, and then the gold crew can take care of it, or the blue crew can take care of it, right? And there's some items that can't be done at sea that have to be done in port, right?
Yes.
And those are absolutely acceptable, and it is what it is.
So the question is, though, like, how much of that did you know about, right? And then how much you didn't?
Well, so...
And then, and then how long was that can kicked down the road? Because I can understand, right, like, in a short interval. I cannot understand when it should have been done in November, and now we're in fucking February, March, and I'm out of time to. It's not even like it's out of time. I have no time now to do this. Right? If it was like, hey, yeah, they moved it, it's now out of periodicity for another month. Cool. I could game plan that. I could work it in.
And I get it, and you're not gonna like my answer, but
yeah, I'm not. So don't say it, motherfucker.
I'm gonna say it. It is your fault for not checking.
Eat a dick.
Right? If you would have checked it, you would have seen it. And then you would have said, I'm not turning this over because they didn't do this maintenance.
Okay.
And then the captain or the eng or the 3MC or whoever it is would have been like, no, you're going to take it. But that other individual would have been held to account. Right? And he would have had to answer because it would have got back to his captain and then down the chain.
So right? I don't like your answer.
I know.
Okay.
I don't care.
You eat a dick. All right. That being said, yes, I did not check it. Yes, it's partially my fault or most of my fault, whichever way you want to cut that cake. All right. But like to me, again, it goes back to like,
why would you turn that over?
Why would you turn that over?
Right.
And again, that's not on my counterpart. Again, like I don't want to get into the.
What do you mean it's not on your counterpart? Yes, it is, because he should have reviewed it before he came in to turn over with you, right?
Yes, but like he wasn't even controlling the work center. Like he was not the work center. No one in supply was the work center soup.
You guys have a 3MC on board?
Yes.
Okay, so let's go there, right? 3MC should know everything.
I
that's in
actually, Gold Crew has the best 3MC on the waterfront.
the Gold Crew.
That's
We
my crew.
We don't know what ship or what command he's with, but the Gold Crew.
Yes, you do.
All you
Y'all know
Blue
if you
Crew
listening, you know,
scrubs, all
motherfuckers.
you
I don't
Blue
give
Crew
a
scrubs,
fuck.
No, but that individual, both of them, both 3MCs should have known, and it should have never gotten to that level, right? So, I mean, I don't know how far back you want to peel the onion, right? But that's the truth. You should have known because you should have seen it when you reviewed Skid.
Yes,
You
I should have.
didn't. That's fine. But it shouldn't have even got to that level because before it got to turnover time, the 3MC on that other crew should have been pinging on everybody like, hey, this shit's still in layup. Right. So, right. But that
Yo,
shit
it's
happens
crazy.
because you know what? You're Blue Crew or Gold Crew?
I'm gold.
Yeah, you're
I'm
Gold
golden suppo.
Right.
Everyone knows this. In the chat, press F5 for the golden suppo in the chat. Go ahead.
So I want to say this. The individual, whoever that person was, I'm going to go with 3MC, knew
Yes.
that shit was fucked up, and he chalked it up as a Gold Crew problem. Or a
Gold.
Yeah, Gold Crew problem, right? He was like, yep, we're almost turned over. We're going to turn over. This dude can take care of it, or this female, whoever it is.
Yeah.
Right? This sailor can take care of it. That's what it is. And it happens all the time, and you better get used to it and then figure out how to mitigate that, right? So next time when you do a turnover, you're going to be checking skid.
Yes,
Right.
I am. But so you can check it all you want, though.
Look at me, retired for a year now, still mentoring young chiefs. Take notes.
Yo, you got me rolling, yo. Fuck you. But I mean, no matter what, if you check it or not, right? The turnover is still going to happen, and there's still no accountability. Tell me when. Hold on. Tell me when. Okay. And I'm glad we're having this conversation with you because you have this experience and I fucking don't. All right.
Well,
You're retired. Yeah, I'm fucking getting it raw. Right. When did you ever report something that wasn't done or wasn't
every fucking time?
Okay. When did you not turn over?
Oh, no. Turnover always happened.
Right.
You're
okay.
absolutely right.
Okay. When after turnover happened, did anything ever happen to other individual?
I can't answer that.
Yes, you can.
No, I mean, I can't give you the answer that you want for that.
I don't want it. I want the fucking truth, damn it.
I don't know. Aside from the few EKMS issues that I brought up with you, but those are
major.
But and they were turnover items, but not really turnover. I don't know. They fall in a different category. I kind of wasted everybody's time talking about that. But yeah, the only other time that I've seen it happen was like, for example, A Gang, right? So A Gang controlling all of the what?
No, go ahead.
A Gang controlling all of the
everything
atmosphere control equipment, right on board, right? With the exception.
Damn, you call it I call it AC.
You can call it whatever you want. I don't care.
Air conditioning?
Yeah, no, I'm talking about like COH2 burners, scrubbers, EOGs, like stuff that creates oxygen, stuff that removes carbon monoxide from the atmosphere.
I just go topside, brother.
Yeah, we don't have that option. No, so like A Gang had fucked up all kinds of the equipment and the maintenance, right? Maintenance. So our captain talked to the other crew's captain and had the other crew's A Gang on board for the entire refit period, right? Fixing all their shit. And so those were the most bitter motherfuckers on board. But they had to fix what they didn't fix before turnover.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it does happen. On your level, maybe not, right? When it comes to, you know what? I'm sorry, Captain. I didn't check sked, so I didn't know that this happened.
Which I don't have, so it's weird. I don't have no problem having those conversations, right?
Right.
And I'm not one to throw the other people under the bus. I will say what happened.
Right.
Right. But I'm not one to blame. Like, oh, hey, XO, Blue Crew fucked me over and I didn't. No, hey, sir, I didn't check. I didn't know. I know now. We're going to lose those ones.
Yeah.
From here on, even though those 4 are going to be lost, I can count up how many we're going to have, right? It's because I have 3, right? I got.
You said 4 earlier, so.
No, well, 2. I said 2. Two major checks, and then you got space checks.
Okay.
Right? So really 3. You know what I'm saying? I got like 3 MIPS. That's it.
Yeah.
So I was like, I could add that up, and as long as I don't drop any, I could add up the total, drop those 4, and then I know what I'm going to get.
Right.
So, it's not like I'm not going to lose totally.
You're not trying to burn the dude and trying to like get him hung. You know what I mean for missing those checks, but you owe it to yourself and your division, right? To say, hey, this is what was given to us.
Yes.
This part is my fault.
Yes.
This part is their fault. We're going to take care of it. This is how we come through it, right? I mean, it's as easy as that.
Yeah.
Yeah. My whole thing was I was on my neck was in the guillotine, you know what I mean, for my issues, so there wasn't a chance in hell. No, I'm not trying to protect you. No, I got mouths to feed at home. Like, you can suck it for all I care. Like, I'm trying to make sure that I don't end up going to mass for your fuck up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if it comes down to that, I would petition anybody I ever talk to that if it comes down to that, fuck them, right? Like, save yourself, save your family. Be honest. Yeah. Be honest, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying to lie and cover some shit up or try and be deceitful. No. If you're in the clear, fuck them, because not anybody is going to do that for you. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to take a pay cut for nobody.
No.
You know what I mean?
Not a fucking all.
If I fuck up, different story, right? Yeah, I'm going to own it, and I'm going to go home, and I'm going to say, hey, you know what? I fucked up. Sorry, our paycheck's going to be a little light for the next 3 years. You know what I mean?
No, I hear you. When did you ever, was it ever so bad? Or did you ever see, maybe even not so bad, but like the COs talking to each other? Like you got on board and it was like that CO was like, oh my God, like this shit's fucked up. And then you guys knew the CO was talking to the other CO and being like, hey, what's up? What's up? Like y'all left, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, so
I want to fight you because you left us a piece of shit. And there's a bunch of stuff going on that apparently you didn't know about and that we want to fight about now.
And that usually came out at like combined crew production meetings. Right?
Okay, so yeah.
Officer LPO called combined, right? When the crews were combined.
Y'all did that?
Yeah. But for like, it was a very short period of time that it happened. Usually it'd be a couple weeks, right? Throughout the turnover process. Yeah, you guys should, and you should recommend it, right? But doing those combined meetings, so all those little roaches that are hiding under the refrigerator and hiding under wherever, they get discovered. They get brought up. Because you know what? If the dude keeps it a secret and he's like, hey, let's sidebar after this meeting, there's other ears around. People are hearing what's going on.
Yeah.
And if I'm on the crew taking over, you're my boy, right, in supply, and I hear the other suppo talking to somebody, and he's like, hey, we need to get this shit done. We need to get it done on the hush-hush. Like, let's get this done quickly, quietly. I'm going to be like, hey, Josh, talk to your dude because some shady shit's going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And that shit would happen, and then all of a sudden, all that shit would be brought to the attention of the command, and yeah, there would be some shouting matches back and forth for sure.
Did you ever experience or did you ever feel that you yourself and the crew were the superior performers? And did you ever, during some of those meetings, those joint meetings or anything, did you feel like how hard was it to like step back when it wasn't yours yet, right? And just kind of like listen and watch instead of being like, no, this is how we're doing it. It's like this because I know better.
Yes. Every single time, right? Every single time.
Do you think the other person felt the same way towards you?
Yes. Every single time. I did. Yes.
Well, no, I support you. I'm just saying like somebody's got to know that they're not the dude.
Right, but
or girl or whatever. I'm just saying that someone's got to know that they're not the one, right? Like that. If you're in that situation again, and I'm not talking about myself, I'm just talking about in this situation of blue and gold, and you're doing this not just turnover, but you're doing a joint meeting or anything like that, right? Like someone's got to look and be like, I might be on hold, but maybe I just don't fucking know about this thing, and I'm gonna look at my counterpart like, so right? And then is it hard to be like, well, then you handle it, or you tell me, and then I'll handle the way you want to handle it? Or is there too much pride at all khaki level to be like, nope, I know better, and I'm the fucking one here, so I'm doing it my way?
Yeah, so that's an excellent question, and I think
I asked it.
Well, you got it from somewhere. I don't know if you got Google up on that fucking laptop or what. But
Shh.
hey, no, for real though, like, yes, there's that alpha mentality, right? Where I'm the big dick in the room and I'm taking over, or I've owned it now and I'm giving you the best that there is, right?
Mm-hmm.
With these exceptions. You know what I mean? Every single time. And the good thing about that turnover process, when it lasts a little bit longer than a couple of days or a week or a couple of weeks, right, is that you work together long enough that you end up on the same page of trying to resolve the problem, whatever the problem is, right? And it's not resolve it my way or your way, it's resolve it the best way and the most efficient way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yes, every time I went to a turnover to take the boat over, I went in there with a fucking checklist of like, I'm gonna blast him for this, 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 and this, and I know he's fucking this up, so I'm getting him. And I would go there and be like, hey, what's up? And be cool and be like, all right, hey, so let me see this. Okay, so that's not done, that's not done. You need to get that fixed. Da, da, da. And then we just go down the list. But the same shit would happen to me when he was taking the boat over for me, right? He would come with his checklist ready to fucking go and guns blazing, man. Like, and that's, I think that's, it's absolutely necessary to have that amount of ego going into that so you don't miss things like a sked, like maintenance checks and stuff like that, because you have to have that ownership, right? When you walk into that room, into that conversation. And if you don't, then you miss the little things. And when you miss the little things turn into big things. And then, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden you're answering for shit that you don't know anything about because you didn't ask the question, because it didn't come up and that person wasn't about to bring it up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand. I mean, I'm with it. I get it.
Yeah.
And again, like as alpha as I pretend to be, psych, I am, right? I still have no problem with someone coming in and checking and being like, having that list, and me being like, oh yeah, I ain't got that. I didn't do that. I don't do that. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like
Yeah.
that's fine. But if you're gonna ask me, I'm gonna be upfront and just be like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. I didn't do it, or whatever. And like, but then try to be like, why do you do it? When it's and to me, like, it's unnecessary. I only do shit like that where I'm like, yo, it's unnecessary. If it's optional, then it's a no for me. You know what I mean? Like let's say something stupid. So something stupid like keeping receipts for parts. You sign for the part and
Yeah.
stuff, right?
Yeah.
We scan those back to the civilian team, and they keep all that. Why the fuck am I gonna keep that? It goes straight into the trash.
Okay.
But if the other person keeps it and they're like, well, where's all? No, I'm not doing it. And all the ones that you had, guess what I did with them?
Yeah.
I
But
threw them away.
so check this out though, right? Is that a policy? Is that something, are you required to maintain those receipts?
Well, no. Well, like
Are
on all,
you required to maintain them on board?
no.
Right.
But on regular ships, you are, and most LSs are used to it.
But you're not on a regular ship, so
Right.
it doesn't apply to you.
Yeah.
So when you throw them away, you're not doing anything wrong. You're not screwing that individual out of an
No,
audit that
no.
could
It's
happen.
just that's more just of a like or something. And I'm not again like I
That's a
don't.
process that
Yeah.
that individual likes
Yeah.
that you
We'll
don't.
start over.
Right.
Yeah.
So fuck it. Right. But that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about process differences, right? Like I like to do it this way and you like
Yeah.
to do it that way. We're talking about shit that's not getting done, right?
Yeah.
And not getting turned over. That
Yeah.
it's not done.
It's a good point.
Yeah. That's.
It's a good point, Chad.
I know. I'm full of those.
Let me put that up on the board for you.
I would appreciate it if you did. But
You know what? I'm gonna get a little whiteboard right here.
Chad's good points.
No, it's just gonna be like guess good points.
Chad's
Not
good
just
points.
Chad, but like guess, right? I don't. It's tough, man. Like I said, um, it's been tough and not hard, right? Like the shit. Like I said, man, I'm a glorified RPPO, bro.
Yeah.
I really just talk to people.
Hey man.
There's not a problem that comes across my table that I can't solve with the email or a phone call.
So you say that, right? You say I'm a glorified RPPO, but the conversation that I walked into when I got here today tells me something different, right? Paints a whole different story, right?
Yeah.
And that's important to note, right? So maybe on the daily, like 7 hours out of 8 hours a day, or you do like 2.5 hours a day. So we'll say 2 out of the 2.5 hours
Nikki
a
will
day.
bust your ass for that.
So you're an RPPO,
Yeah.
but there is those moments where you're the
Yeah.
fucking seppo and you're the chief, and you got to make decisions, and you
Yeah.
got to bring perspective to people that aren't thinking in the ways that you've been trained to think and that you understand, and you're shining light onto situations that these people don't understand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And making changes, making dramatic changes. Like, for example, we're going underway with no food because we don't have a refrigerator.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a big deal. So you can say you're a glorified RPPO, but
Well, I mean, like, again, I'm used to a full supply operation, right? With a full art supply with 10 LSs and a
right.
full fucking S1 at least
Yeah.
operation. Okay, and I know how to run that, and I'm having difficulties working with that team. Great team, don't get me wrong. They're good as far as like responding and doing it. But I'm used to like kind of process, right? Like you come down and you say you need cabs rep, I do that in 5 minutes. We're done.
Yeah.
It takes me hours, not because they're slow, but because the systems and the emails and the phone calls, and I send it to them. Then they're out of the office doing other shit for other ships because they got 4 ships and blah, 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 blah. And then I'm just waiting, and then they're waiting on me to provide them more information because I got to go find the work center. Where if I had it all on my computer, it'd be standard as SOP.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As we were talking about, before, it's bring the shit. I click a button, I click 3 more buttons, and I give you some fucking papers and get out of my way, nerd.
Right. Right. Right.
But back to what you're saying, but like, I mean, I get what you're saying, right? I've had some conversations with some people, um, that signed my fucking eval and shit, but to me, like, that's easy. That's an easy conversation. I am just a glorified RPPO. Like my goal for my LS3 is where he can have that conversation. Where my goal for my CS1s, my CS3 is like if for some reason the captain walked by them and was like, "Oh, hey," just shotgun them to the face about like, "Hey, what's going on with XYZ?" They'd be able to tell him confidently the answer.
Yeah, and guess what? They're going to get that from watching you have the conversations that you had on the pier today with the captain. You know what I mean? So the more they see that, they might not like your alpha demeanor where you claim to have the biggest dick in the room.
Right? I don't claim it. I let everyone know what it is.
Right. Okay. So let me use a different metaphor because that clearly doesn't apply to this.
No, it does not.
My point is this. If they can witness that and see you do it in a professional manner and get the results that you were looking for in that conversation, that's mentorship that they will get nowhere else, right? Nowhere else. And it's huge in development of junior sailors to see, hey, so my chief was a glorified RPPO that could talk to the captain and convince him one way or the other. You know what I mean? Intelligently. Not from being the loudest voice in the room, but from being the smartest voice in the room, right?
Yeah.
And thinking big picture and thinking holistically, not tunnel vision. I don't want to take this thing underway. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, well, hold on a minute. If we don't, what are our options?
Right.
And so I think that's the mentorship that changes sailors' trajectories throughout their career when they get to witness that and they get to see the response and they get to see how the exchange happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you on that. Like, yeah, it kind of gives that like, oh, that's what that person does. That's the chief. That's, you know what I mean? Yeah,
that's the chief.
Yeah, in my position at least. Others might witness it with other, with officers or first class, whoever. But like that's what I want to become. I want to have that kind of influence, things like that.
Yes,
Yeah,
you're absolutely right.
It's funny. I walked into another one this morning. We just got back today. We'll start talking about the underway time. We got back today. Marine layer out here in San Diego it was thick this morning, and we're pulling up, set low visibility. I'm low visibility detail out on the forecastle.
Because you're a glorified RPPO. So.
Yes, exactly.
So-
Because I'm a glorified RPPO. So I'm out there, and me and a third class, and you know, I'm standing left side port. He's on starboard. We're looking, you know, we're listening. We're doing our watch. You know, we're out there maybe 45 minutes, 30, 45 minutes probably. And he you know, I'm calling out contacts that, to me, I'm like, they should be able to see that on the bridge. But let me call that out. You know, hey, small craft, you know, bearing whatever, 350, 345, whatever, right? Okay. Third class over on the starboard side. He goes, you know, he's all, contact straight ahead. I'm like, oh, like, what? So I was like, I'm saying port. There's a gun right there. I can't see what he's looking at. So I like move over a little bit, and he's pointing at it. He's like, contact straight ahead, contact straight ahead. And then I see it crossing our bow. And I was like, boom, on the radio. Hey, contact straight ahead, you know, crossing starboard to port. You know, like close.
Yeah.
Right? Boom. They do their actions on the bridge, all good.
When you said boom, I thought you...
No.
I was like, damn.
No, it wasn't boom. It's just they do their actions all
Poor
good,
Nelson
right?
family that was going out fishing.
You know, and it was a little like, you know, little speedboat, whatever. I see it. I'm thinking like, oh yeah, there he goes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I'm down on the forecastle, damn near as close to the tip as I can go, right? I think they say like it's another 200 feet, or I don't know, whatever. Not all the way to the tip, but just something. Anyways, so all right, there he goes. Right, he's off that way. Takes off. Hours later, we're moored up. They're doing debrief. I'm not up there for the debrief. I'm looking for the fucking chief, right? I gotta let him know about some shit, right? Whatever. So I'm looking for one of the chiefs. And then everyone's debriefing, and this little boat comes up in the conversation. They're like, yeah, you know, that fucking little power boat came out of nowhere, this and that, and you know, low vis caught it, this and that. And they're like, oh, well, Suppo's right here. I'm like, yo, don't fucking call me out. Like, I ain't up here to talk. I'm just standing by listening to y'all. I'm waiting for this motherfucker. Like, and then, so, you know, Captain's like, oh, Suppo, you know, you got anything to say about that? I guess I got to think of something to say real quick. So I was like, yeah. So, you know, not me, but Petty Officer Third Class spotted it. You know, as soon as he spotted it, you know, I radioed it up to the bridge. You know, you heard it. You were up here, right? You know, and then I'm a smart ass. You know, I'm like, you know, but according to my, you know, what I say, something like, being not that involved in seamanship or something, right? I was like, you know, to my eyes, we missed it by a mile. You know, it wasn't even close, sir. And everyone just looked at me like, yo, did this motherfucker just like, and I'm like blank stare looking at them, like dead serious, like, you know, like my unfamiliar seamanship eye, sir, we missed it by a mile. I was and they're like, I was like, it wasn't that close. I was like, not to me. Like, they were like, man, we were like rubbing paint with it, and I was like,
not that close.
No, and if we would have, it wouldn't really been rubbing paint as much as just running over that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, it was a small little powerboat.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, like, you know, we could
You
just
wouldn't
kept
have even
going.
felt it,
Yeah, we just kept going, and you know, fucking Timmy and Sam would have just not made it home that day.
Yeah.
I guess. Like, I don't know, sucked up and probably fucking shot out the fucking ass end of the ship or something. Like, who knows? But everyone else was like super fucking like, oh my God, it was so close. And I was like, not when you're down on the forecastle looking at it.
Right. Not when you can actually see what's there.
Yeah. And they, you know, it's just another one of the moments where they're all just kind of staring at me like, fucking, did Suppo just say that? Which I've had a lot in the 3 weeks we've been on board.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Of like we were talking about, right? Like a lot of people looking at me. Did you just say, yes, I just said that.
Yeah, I remember one of the first mess meetings that I was in with you. I hadn't been at the command much longer than you at the time, so I was still trying to feel everybody out.
Yeah.
And it was a bigger meeting than we had up to that point.
Yeah.
And you started talking. We were probably talking about coins or something like that, right?
Uh-huh.
That's what
What always talks
the
about.
gist of our conversations in that mess. Yeah. But I remember, like, the way that you addressed everybody was not, there was no timidness, right? I'm not shy to say what I think, and I'm going to say what I think. And if you don't like it, fuck off. And if you do like it, right on, like,
Fuck
whatever.
on, brother.
Yeah, like whatever it was.
Yeah.
I always appreciated that and respected that.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, so, but we'll go back to your junior LSs, right? They need to see that, right? Because what do we learn more from the people that are leading us? We learn the positive and the negative. I think we take more away from the negative than we do the positive, right? Some leaders are almost exclusively positive, right? But they have their weakness that you figure out, right? And you're like, okay, I want to make sure I don't handle it that way. A lot of leaders have a lot of negatives, right? And when we develop from junior sailors into senior sailors and leaders, right? We have to try to mitigate those negative things or get rid of those negative things that we've learned and make sure that we don't incorporate those into our leadership style, right? So for junior sailors to be able to see you confidently as a chief standing up and saying, yeah, no, this is what it was. You guys are, I don't know what it looked like on the radar. Maybe that little green bleep was a little bit closer to our green bleep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
well, I mean, too,
really
like them, any ship where the bridge is up here and the forecastle is down here, like that contact is going to disappear
under the forecastle, yeah.
Yeah, but then people out there are gonna be like, oh yeah, no, it was still there. But it was just a cool thing, like I didn't do shit. I had the radio. I called it out, and of course, I gave all praise to Petty Officer Third Class of like,
this is what you have to do.
Right. I was like, and not to even have to do, but it's what was like. I didn't see the motherfucker. Like he saw it,
But you didn't steal his credit either. You
No,
know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah. I mean,
and,
yeah.
and that's the thing that a lot of guys do. They feel like they need that extra feather on their cap or something, that extra pat on the back, and it's like, you didn't do fucking anything.
Yeah.
All you did was repeat what he said.
Yeah.
On this thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's weird like that. So we're that was this morning. Last night, we pulled out of the port we were in and we headed south back down here and
Yeah, you do some long underways on those boats, huh?
Yeah, 5 days. 5 days. It was a shit. Oh God, it was a shit show. I'll just say it was a shit show, man. Like there's the whole crew was running on, I'd say an average of like 3 hours of sleep a night.
Yeah, that sucks.
4 hours maybe.
Right.
But this is, so it was rough. It was a rough one. The worst night I was on duty. We were up late, right? Because we had Liberty, and then it was Cinderella Liberty. And as a good chief, I'm looking for my sailors to come back. My sailor, part of the last group, 11:55.
Right.
Fucking
asshole.
But and we'll get into this too. There's lots to talk about that, right? And you could tell he had a good time. You could tell all the sailors had a good time. You could tell like the previous 48
they
hours.
They just had a long underway up about 20 miles north. So,
well, I mean, but like it was one of those like it was just the first 2 weeks on board, right? Like it's been like fucking balls to the walls, going. Yeah, and then now you get this Liberty port. Yes, it's just fucking up north, right? You can take a drive up there on the weekend, but what's different.
Of course, yes.
And for anyone listening, the civilian listener and stuff, it's you could road trip all around America and have a great time. We can, sailor, you retired, any sailor out there listening, you could pull into port an hour north of you, and it's fucking on.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah.
It could be some place that you could visit every weekend, but you're getting off the ship and you're going on Liberty. Right, and you only have that much time because you gotta be back at midnight. And like I did. Me and some of the chiefs, we just went out. We had a bite. We had a couple drinks. We came back.
Yep.
That like we know like this ain't the place, right? But then you got those junior sailors that have been grinding, fucking getting after it, right? And they're like, oh, we're on Liberty, and 11:55, 23:55. They're strolling in.
Yeah.
And they're just all smiles. They had a few drinks, maybe plus a couple, and they just had a great time.
Yeah.
On Liberty.
Until tomorrow morning.
Until tomorrow morning. Or until, hour after Liberty expires and the bells are ringing.
Right.
And there's a casualty. Actual.
Yeah, but that didn't happen? Oh, it did happen.
That did.
Oh, no.
That did happen. Right? Not not major, but like casualty, and motherfuckers jumped to, and duty section had it and was responding, and I'll tell you that whole story offline, but but then the next morning you had sailors like, yo, were they running drills last night or was I dreaming?
No, you were drunk. It wasn't a drill.
It wasn't a drill. It was real life actual. Right. And then you had sailors that had just got back, the engineers, shout out the engineers, man, fucking down in spaces, fucking getting after it.
Yeah, killing it.
With that fucking, just they'd only been asleep an hour.
Yeah.
And their, BAC is still.
Yeah, well above what it needs to be. But
to operate machinery, but they're down there like, what do we do? Like, let's, ready to go.
Yeah.
As but they were quickly removed from the situation.
Right.
Just because it's like, hey, like we got duty section got it. It's under control. Everything's good.
Yeah, but that mentality of like, hey, it's go time. Let's get after it. Yeah. No, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
the responsible person has to be like, hey, dude, I get it. I appreciate your
captain's on his way down.
Yeah, let's back up.
I don't want you down here smelling like alcohol. Yeah. Even though I don't think he's going to say anything, I just don't want it to be something to be brought up.
Of course,
right?
Of course.
So, like, thank you for a response. Get out of here now. Yeah. And that's not wrong, right? Like, when there's a casualty and bells are ringing, we need people responding.
Of course.
And with those engineers that know their space is the best, like, drunk or otherwise, the real ones are up and at it, and they're fucking ready to go. And that gets into, like, the underway time, right? It's a beautiful thing to see that, civilians, other branches, they have their own way to do it.
Yeah.
But us, it's all the time at sea where this shit can happen.
Right. Even if you're an hour north.
Even if you're an hour north. Even if it's just, routine operations, just out of fucking eyesight of the shoreline.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't think people understand. I know I didn't understand before I joined the Navy, right? And I got on ships and stuff, right?
Okay.
Like the level, the industrial level of danger and how the sea can really just crush you. And people are like, oh, crush you like an aluminum can. Well, it just happens that the ship I'm on is made out of aluminum. Okay. And it's real, right? That this, like, machines pumping, oils and fuels and water and, like, everything around you can kill you in these spaces. And, like, as soon as one thing, man, like this.
Fuck, man, turning around can kill you.
Yeah.
You hit a light hanger that you're not expecting that's there and you don't duck.
I remember it was like 2000, what was it? Probably 2007, 2010, something like that. Somewhere between there, maybe. Reading an article of a sailor who died on the East Coast on a carrier because they bumped a little more than a bump, I think, but they hit their head on like a fucking pipe or something. Yeah. Like underway.
Yeah.
Like that's the level of shit can happen, right? That we deal with. So it was really cool to see that one sailor stepping up, standing those watches, making their rounds. It was amazing to see that roving watch. They were calling it away, and we're down there and we're getting it taken care of. And I'm like, hey, like fucking good job, right? You fucking responded how you're supposed to respond,
right?
And then she's like fucking crying, and I'm like, yo, are you okay? Like, do you need to step away? Do you need a moment? And she's like, I'm fine. So I'm taking a moment. I don't even know why I'm crying. And I'm like,
that was pride,
cool,
man. That was pride. She killed it, and then she came back to it like, oh fuck, I just did that. I didn't even think about it.
I did something.
Yeah.
Right? Because a lot of times when we're messing with junior sailors and stuff, it's like they're like, I don't do shit. This is stupid. You know, what the fuck am I here for? And then
Why are we drilling again?
Why are we drilling? You know, just whatever it is, right? And then something actual happens, and that
Instinct.
the instinct and what they've been trained kicks in,
Yep.
and it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying she was like boo-hooing in the corner. Nah.
Right.
She was standing there fucking ready for more, finding like, all right, what do I do next? And she's just like, yeah, I don't know, chief. And I was like, hey, cool, let it go then. Like, but if you need to step away too, like,
do it. Yeah.
Right? Because everything's safe, right? We're in a good spot where you can do that, right? Again, I just want to be clear. Like, this wasn't like she was just crying while it was happening. No, she was on the fucking radio.
Yeah.
Flooding in Ox2. Yeah, like whatever it was, right? And
no hating what you're saying.
No.
I get it. I hope everybody else.
It was fucking awesome, man.
Yeah. And but so same thing with submarines. Like I've only been through a few casualties on subs, and I mean you can imagine what it's like being in an enclosed tube, right? And the smallest fire lights off, or
oh my god,
whatever it is, right? It takes over that space so quickly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Think about like this is how I try to relate it to people. Like, think about when you're in the kitchen or in the bathroom, right? And you have the candle lit because you have people over. You want to keep the candle lit. When you go to blow out that candle, right? What do you do almost right after? You probably turn the fan on, right? Because that smoke, just from that little wick on the candle, it's obnoxious.
Yeah.
Right? So think about being in a space that's enclosed, right? That you're living in. You can't walk into the living room to get away from it. It's there. Right. So the casualties that I've been unfortunate enough to be a part of, I was always overwhelmed with enthusiasm to the reaction of the crew. You know what I mean? And how this dude that you just wanted to fight 20 minutes ago after dinner, you know what I mean? Like, you guys hate each other and had sex with his mom, like whatever it is.
What? What?
I'm joking, right? Like, talking shit, but you know what I mean. Like, you're talking all this shit, and then all of a sudden, something real happens, and then everybody's one team, and you get it done. And then when it's done, you go back to, all right,
fuck you,
yeah, fuck you,
you fucking suck. You're so slow in responding.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
like, and you don't even have that shit strapped up right. Like, fucking loser.
Oh
you
man,
know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
that's real. Like that. All that drilling, we fucking hate it. We always hate it. We always will. But it serves a purpose, man, because when the shit goes down and you're on that 2 hours of sleep for the last 2 days, you're not thinking. You're just doing what you've been trained to do. And guess what? More often than not, it works.
Yeah. But, I mean, like me and another buddy, we've had a conversation a lot about drilling and training and training and drilling just to fucking train and drill because we hate it. Right, and it's not that we don't want to be proficient. It's just like it goes back to there were sailors like, were they running drills last night?
Yeah,
because you drill so much that they think everything's a drill.
Right, and they're like, I'm not getting out of the rack for this.
I'm not getting out of the rack for this drill. Right. But then there's one. At least duty section knew, as they fucking should,
because they were sober.
They were sober, yes, definitely, right. And you know, it just goes back to like something I tell, because I gotta have fun. You know, one of my rules that I always say when I'm there is like, hey, if we're not fucking having fun, then why the fuck are we here, guys?
Yeah, right.
Okay, so I don't care how much you think this sucks. Start having fun.
Yeah, let's figure it out.
Yeah, and I'm gonna lead the fun, right? I'm not just gonna be like preaching it. Like, I'm gonna lead it. So let's fucking talk this shit up, okay, and let's go. But, like, I tell them we would do section turnover or whatever, right? I'm like, yo, if it looks funky, smells funky, or sounds funky, report that shit. Like, I don't care what it is.
Right.
Report it. Call it away. I don't fucking care. What's the worst that could happen? It's nothing. Guess what we still get to do? We still get to account for it as a drill.
Right.
And then we don't got to run that drill.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I was like, yo, there's ways to get out of it.
Yeah.
There's value, and don't forget, if you're finding value in this, go ahead and hit subscribe, the like button, and leave a comment. That's my plug. Thanks.
No, that's good.
What's up? What you said?
I was just gonna say I love it. I like there's nothing that makes a drill scenario suck more than a shitty locker leader or
Mm-hmm.
a shitty leader in that casualty environment when they're not motivated and they're not trying to bring enthusiasm to it, right? They're just going through the motions and checking the boxes as they go down, right? That was one of, yeah. So I just that's all I wanted to say about that.
No, but I mean,
Mhm.
it's right though, right? Like the locker leader sets the tempo, right? Like and toot toot my own horn. Like I'm locker leader for one locker. We only got two lockers, and then
Right.
fucking boats is the other locker leader.
Yeah.
Guess who the two loudest motherfuckers on the
Right.
ship
Right. Right.
is?
And that's who should be running that show, right?
Yeah,
Those two individuals that can bring some motivation to the people that are pissed off because they're getting out of the fucking rack and they're just like, fuck. And you're like, hey, get this shit on. Fucking, you go here, your host team, whatever, blah,
yep,
blah, blah,
yep.
whatever the situation is. Even like on submarines, it's my opinion, and anybody that watches this can say otherwise, but atmosphere monitoring is one of the lamest fucking jobs to do for a damage control party. You got this bullshit equipment that you're squeezing plungers and trying to get chemicals out of the atmosphere to figure out if it's safe to breathe or not. Like my whole thought process with that is I don't want to fucking take my mask off if there's smoke in the room, right? If it's a smoke-free environment, maybe I want to go ahead and sniff some shit and see if there's other shit in there that's going to kill me.
Yeah.
But if there's smoke there, why am I doing this? And that was like my biggest frustration was like, why don't we ventilate for several hours to get the smell out of here before we start doing this? So I ended up getting moved to a host team, which was a lot more fun.
It was.
Yeah, because though you're getting all sweaty and gross for nothing, like you're part of the action.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're part of the team. You're part of putting out the casualty and saving lives.
And again, I want to stress, like, if there's anyone civilian listeners or even other military, other branches, or especially Navy, like, the fucking drilling and training sucks, and everyone knows that. But I mean, you can say like Tuesday night was the actual casualty. I have never experienced an actual fire, which God, I hope I never do.
Yeah.
And I hope no sailor out there ever fucking does, right? Because it's like, everyone listening out there, if you ever watched a keep your Christmas tree wet video because if it catches fucking fire, right? Go watch one of those videos, right, about how quickly the Christmas tree catches fire, and then the curtains, and then the couch, because the couch is super flammable, and then the whole house, right? Now imagine that in an actual industrial. So that's just a dried Christmas tree with some flammables around it, right? What we call a class alpha fire.
Right.
Now imagine a fire breaking out in an industrial area that has oil, gasoline, jet fuel, machinery, hydraulic oil, all machinery pumping all of this shit, right? And yes, it might be all metal. Metal will burn.
Correct.
Okay. Now imagine a fire catching in that, right? Lube oil starts spraying, it hits something hot, boom, you got fire. How fast do you think it's going to take to consume that space?
And the fact that you can't just go out the front door and use your cell phone to call the fire department.
Yeah, there is no fire department. Right. Everything is on board.
This is your life now.
We are the fire department.
Like you change gears immediately.
Yeah.
Right? Like I don't sit back and wait for somebody to show up to do this. I have to do this.
Yeah.
When I was in boot camp, so
was that circa
we're going back,
83?
I don't even think
circa Noah's Ark.
I don't even think we had color at the time. It was all black and white.
Damn, in life?
Yeah.
I feel bad for you.
No, so I was in boot camp and I had a DC2 McGee was her name. She was one of my RDCs. She's a DC man, right? So what do DC men do on a ship? They maintain all damage control equipment, right?
They control damage.
So they maintain all the damage control equipment. And we had a dude from another division that came in and was always flirting with her and talking with her. He was a YN. He was a YN too, but he was a submarine YN, right? So he happened to be in the compartment when she was giving us this damage control training. and she was talking about how, if you got equipment that's bad or whatever, what do you do? And the answer was you report it to the damage controlman, right? The DC men,
Yeah.
whoever they are. He started laughing, and I looked at him. I was about to be a submariner, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's a submariner. He's laughing. Why is he laughing? He says, because on a submarine, everybody's a DC man,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Everybody. If you're a nuke electrician, if you're a radioman, if you're a sonar tech, if you're a cook, it doesn't matter what job you hold on a submarine, everybody's a DC man. So everybody knows how to combat every casualty, right, that we have on board, or at least that have been experienced on board.
Yeah.
That was a big deal. That was an eye opener to me. Um, so fast forward almost a year later, after I got through pipeline, whatever, I got on my first boat, and I was on board for like 3 days. I still barely knew how to get from my bunk room to the mess decks, which it's a submarine, right? So there's only so many places it can be.
Only so many routes.
Figure that out. But I'll never forget. I walked out of my bunk room to go to the head that was literally 2 missile tubes away from me, and I saw the egg hangers back in machinery 2. Like it was fucking crazy. It looked like a Circus de Soleil thing. Like they were swinging from light hangers and fucking jumping over and doing shit. Smoke was filling that space, but they sounded the alarm, emergency shut off. Like each one of them did something to combat the casualty, and I was like, oh fuck. Like the only thing I know to do is to bring an EAB. Do you know what an EAB is?
EAB?
Yeah, emergency air breathing apparatus.
Oh, EEBD. We call them
So
EEBDs.
this is
Same.
older, yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, it's a gas mask.
Uh-huh.
It has a small tube that you plug into an air manifold.
Okay.
Overhead or on the side, wherever they are.
Okay. Different from what I'm talking about, but I get it. Okay.
Similar, but
Yeah.
So I go in my bunk room, and I was like, there was like 2 people sleeping in there. So I ripped out all the EABs in the bunk room because every bunk has an EAB associated with it. Grabbed them all and started marching my way back to machinery 2. The Cobb, which is our CMC on a submarine. He comes out of his office, and this dude's like 6'4", like he's like a bear of a dude, like just a beast. One of the most humble leaders I know, and probably because I didn't get to experience the politics at that stage in my career.
Yeah.
But he saw me heading toward the casualty. He looked and starts like getting
Battle dress.
Yeah, battle dress. Picks me up with one hand, right? Twists the collar of my shirt like this, turns me around, and he said, "You go that way." And I was like, fuck, I'm trying to help. But okay. So I go to the mess decks, found the mess decks, threw all the EABs on the table, and everybody's like, what's going on? I was like, I don't know. Some shit's going on back there. Like, I don't know. I've been here for 3 days.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody that I'm talking to.
Yeah.
Right? Long story short, like, I thought that I was going to be fighting the casualty, but I would have been a liability doing so at that point.
Yeah.
Fast forward years later and all the training and all that stuff, like, I was ready to go in any situation on board. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Removed from a submarine, maybe not.
But I mean, it don't matter. Like, and it's cool that you say, because there's a difference in that mentality, right? We're on the submarines. Me and you and Armando have talked about that, right? About getting fish qualified and that stuff and how much that means and the status symbol that it is compared to surface, where it's kind of like, okay, check in the box, you got your ESWAS. And then this round turn that we're trying to make that everyone's a DC man, right? But even when we're going through our DC things, I'm telling sailors that, and then I got DC men, at ATG telling me, well, no, you're not a DC man, right? Little, rating pride, and it's like you're kind of a firefighter, okay, but you're not a DC man. And like, well, how can we try to be like convince everyone that they're a DC man, firefighter or whatever, if you're gonna just hold it for yourself, right? I don't want to be a DC man. I'm fucking LS. But I know a bit about DC. Been doing it a while, right? Like, right. I know the 555. I'm not saying inside and out like you do, but I know that it's the 555.
Right.
I know I could open that up and start looking about combating casualties. Right. I know the RPM.
Right.
Right. I know that it, again, not inside out. I know it's an RPM, and I can open it up and look on how to combat any casualty. right? And some people are, well, as a locker leader, you should or whatever. But I'm like, well, it's not just locker leader.
Everybody.
That's
You're-
everyone being a DC man on your ship should know 555 is where you look to combat fires if you ever just want to do some light rating, right? And the RPM is if you're the first one to the locker, open it up, look at the fucking, the table of contents, figure out what you're fighting, turn to that page.
Yeah.
And start following steps, right? While everyone else dresses out or does whatever. But, it's cool, it's cool that you also like being that brand new kid trying to fight the fire, right? Help out.
I had no idea what I was going to do when I got there.
But
I just wanted to bring them EAB so they could breathe. That was my only
It counts.
goal. Yeah.
It fucking counts, right? It's sometimes you are just the utility men on the watch bill. And sometimes that just means helping motherfuckers get dressed out, getting more SCBA bottles, taking SCBAs to get them refilled. That's your part. Play your part.
You couldn't have said it better, man. Sometimes you are the utility. And that goes with any trade that you're involved in, right?
Yeah.
But when it comes to damage control and saving lives, like, yeah, sometimes you're the dude that holds the rag.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that's all you're doing. But guess what? If you're not doing it, who's doing it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then that gets me to another part when I don't know if you've seen, I was posting on Facebook talking shit, right? Not this week, last week. Because we were running drills, right? And trying to get certified in some different things. And I had a shadow, right? They told me I was locker leader. All right, I'm locker leader. And I have a shadow fucking following me around like it's fucking Peter Pan or something. I'm like, hey, how about I be your assistant locker leader? How about you be out the fucking way? All right? How about you be that? You know what I mean? Like, I don't need an assistant locker leader, okay? Especially in my mind, right? When, what kind of assistant are you going to be when your level of knowledge does not match mine?
How about you take notes and qualify locker leader?
Yeah, that. Or how about you just dress the fuck out and play the role that you are on the watch bill?
Oh, yeah. Well, that too.
Instead of trying to get out of it.
Right.
Because
that's what it was. Okay. I thought it was a motivated sailor trying to step up their game, but yeah, if it was a matter of trying to get out of getting sweaty in a FFE or something like that, like, fuck off. Like,
yeah.
Go ahead and figure this shit out.
Yeah, and like, I mean, on a sub, like you've been on, you got a full, like, we have a full crew, but you have a big crew, right? How many you got on sub? 200-300?
No, not at all. Like
150, 200?
Yeah. So the crew itself is, for the last boat that I was on, was usually about 100 to 120.
That's a small sub though, right?
No,
Or that's big?
That was a GN, yeah.
Okay.
When we brought in like the SEALs and the divers and everything, we'd be up to almost 200.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But those guys aren't responsible for combat and casualty.
No, yeah, they're get the fuck out of the way and go muster on the mess X or whatever.
And so I got nothing but respect for those guys, a lot of them anyway, because a lot of them would be like, hey, so we're here, we're on this mission, like, let me go ahead and qualify.
Yeah.
Fucking, what do you want to know? I'm going to teach you everything that I can.
Yeah.
And if I can't answer your question, I'm going to tell you who can.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I'm going to ask you to bring me that knowledge back so I know it. You know what I mean? And a lot of guys did, and they wanted to be involved, and they wanted to be involved in the drills, and they wanted to do that stuff. And that probably out of sheer boredom.
Yeah.
Because they're at a go. And when we're out trying to deploy them on a mission, but we can't, and they're stuck sitting with us.
But also, I mean, having worked with some of those guys, Gary Q, when I was with the teams, it's just they're so used to like having high levels of knowledge about whatever they're doing.
Everything, yeah.
Right? Like,
yes.
and being able to assist and fight whatever the fight is like, why wouldn't they want to know how to fight where they're at?
You're absolutely right. You're dealing with a different caliber of people. And,
yeah.
And for the most part, right? Some of them are assholes. Some of them don't care at all. But I was blessed enough to work with enough that wanted to know and that wanted to be a part of that and wanted to be a part of the team. And shit, I think we passed out half a dozen dolphins.
Damn, for real?
I swear, because these guys were motivated. They did the qual card just like any nub would have to do.
Yeah.
When they first checked in, but they did it so much faster, and probably because that was their only purpose in life. They didn't have to stand a watch.
Yeah.
They didn't have to do anything else. They no cleanup or anything like
Yeah.
that. They didn't have to drill, right? So if they decided they didn't want to, they didn't. But it was awesome to see when guys came up to my radio room and was like, "Hey, so can you teach me this stuff?" Yeah, I'll give you what you need to know. You know what I mean? Because for my equipment and radio, I don't need you to be an expert.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want you
Yeah.
to understand some very basics.
Yep.
What we do. How do you get your email? You know what I mean? What do I
Yeah.
got to do to get you email?
Yeah.
Oh, you got to do. All right, good. Like, you know, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was good. Like I enjoyed that. And I used to love when I had a non-qual or a JO that was trying to qualify in my room, and then a SEAL would come up or a diver or whoever they were would come up and be like, "Hey, I'm trying to qualify. You know, can I get this checkout?" Yeah, guess what? They're working on the same thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they would know more about it than the people that live on board.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'd ask them questions. Boom, you got it? All right, cool. Sign their shit off, and they'd be like, "All right, can you sign mine too?" No, because you don't know
Because you're stupid.
shit. It's not that they're stupid.
No, it is, Chad.
They
Just say it.
No, because they got a million other things going on too. They're trying to learn. My whole thing with the submarine qualification is that when I was going through it, I was like, why the fuck do I need to learn basic primary reactor, all that bullshit?
Yeah.
Like, why do I need to learn hydraulic isolations from here and here? And it was put into perspective to me. One of the guys told me, he's like, look, here's the deal. Like, you're not going to manage this system. You're never going to operate it. You're never going to touch anything unless there's a casualty.
Mhm.
If there's a casualty and you happen to be walking by here and you hear that casualty called away, you will know to shut that valve right there, right? You will know to do that. You will know where this exists or that it exists, right? And then
Yeah.
you're going to have to relocate it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was huge for us. Like, well, it was huge for me mentally going through the qualification process, understanding the importance of knowing that stuff. And it's something for me, my experience in the surface fleet, which is only 2 submarine tenders, it was not at all a thing. Like, we had MSC, Marine Sea Lift Command. Right?
Yeah. Military Seal of Command.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
They did all the DC.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we drilled, but in the event of an actual casualty,
Yep.
MSC was the one fighting the
Yep.
casualty.
I've been there.
So there was so little pride and effort in all elements of that training process. And I was like, why am I doing this? Like, you want me to get my ESWAS, but I'm not earning anything. I'm just going and talking to you like, hey, brother, you know, can you sign my card? Yeah, dude, I can sign all this. Well, all right, so what's that? I don't know. Fuck it. Sign it. Like, all right, so this is a big joke. And that's how I took it from that command, right? I'm not saying all commands are like that, and I'm not trying to shit on the surface fleet in any way.
Shit on us.
I'm just
Someone
saying
probably like it.
that was the reality of the situation I was facing, and I had so little care for getting that warfare device while I was there because of that. Because I came from what you learn matters. You know what I mean? And you will, can and will absolutely save lives by knowing this shit. It doesn't matter if you know it. It's who you know, not what you know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a big problem, right? And I mean, I got my ESWAS on a destroyer. I'd say it was like a mix, right? Like it was a mix of here. Some people were like, "Hey, I'm gonna train you. I'm gonna show you what this can all do." And the same, like, you're not gonna get up here. I remember someone. I told him this before. This warrant officer that I know, warrant officer Fazy now, right? He showed me all about CWIZ and a bunch of shit, and he signed off a bunch of fucking, he was an FC at the time, so a bunch of combat systems, right? And he really helped me. And I told him, it was a few years ago, but years later after we served on that ship, when when he was a chief, and I think I was a first class still. But I say, hey man, like I want to let you know, like you helped me with my ESWAS, and it meant a lot, right? Because I learned a lot. I'm never gonna shoot CWIZ.
Yeah.
But at that time, I knew the full operational of it from whatever he taught me, right? You know, and that was cool. But then, you know, there's DC men that were on that ship that taught me a lot of DC shit, you know, for ESWAS and just for training purposes that I retain today.
Yeah.
And that laid the foundation for me to be half decent at DC.
But as
you
a
know?
sailor, you understand that DC is the most important part of that.
Yes.
Right? DC is the most important because you're never going to find, if you find yourself in combat systems, right, during, let's say, a wartime scenario or anything like that, like, we got bigger problems if Josh Moore is manning combat systems. You know what I mean? And that's not an insult. That's,
no, I don't know what the fuck. Put me on a 50 cal, I know what I'm doing.
okay,
but
yeah. So you can point and shoot, but as far as controlling the right,
we're fucked.
Yeah, forget about it.
Yeah,
right. But in the event of a fire, if you're anywhere on board, you're a useful body and a tool that can be used to put out that casualty.
Yeah, more. Yeah, and like more than useful, right? Like it's
exactly.
Yeah.
Not only can you do it yourself, but you can also tell other people what to do to combat that casualty while you control the locker or whatever.
Yeah, the fire team. Like if I'm team, right? Like
absolutely.
Yeah.
Pick the scenario.
Yeah.
In a damage control situation. So that was something I always tried to impress upon Nubs when I was putting them through the qualification process was, hey, so here's the deal. Like, I don't need you to know how to turn the COH2 burner on and keep it running for 12 hours. I don't need you to know that. I need you to know that if you're back here walking through and the watch is over there not seeing shit and you see smoke billowing out of this thing, how do you secure power to it? Not turn it off. How do you secure power going to the unit, right? And that was the big thing. And that was one of my biggest things for radio. Like, hey, so I'm dead in radio, right? Smoke's coming out of the door. You guys know that we're dead in there. How are you going to make sure that power's isolated so when you guys open that door, you can combat the casualty effectively?
Yeah, and so that's something like we don't get into that depth, right? We're like, oh, we got electricians. Mm-hmm. You send out the electrician to do electrical isolation, and then they got it. Yeah. Which, I mean, good or bad, I don't know. But, I mean, that's same with mech ISO, right? Like, we run drills for main space. Hey, you got an engineer. Hey, go set mech ISO, right? Stop feeding it.
And so from a maintenance perspective, that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
You have professionals that are trained in that field to do that operation. Right?
Yeah.
But from a damage control perspective, that's totally different.
Yeah.
If there's a fire over here on this electrical equipment, you're not going to write a tag out, go to the duty officer or whoever you're going to go to get that tag approved, hang the tag, shut the breaker, hang the tag, whatever. You know what I mean? So if it's all right with you, I want to switch gears and ask you how this this transition from 5 years at shore back to sea, right, is affecting you personally, but then also the home life.
Fuck that. Tough question. It's been tough. You know, it's tougher for the home life. You know what I mean? It's tougher for the home life because standing as much not underway because we just got underway. Standing as many duty sections as we're standing. That's the wrong way to put it. As few duty sections and as frequent as duty you have. Excuse me. It makes it tough. I think what was it? Last week. And then of course everyone knows Nikki and shout out babe, hey, I love you. Works nights. So there's been several days already where I've not made it home in time to see her before she goes to work. You know, and I'm not asking for a fucking boo-hoo, you know, woe is me, but that's tough.
Right.
Right when I get home and, you know, my mother-in-law's here helping and God, it's a blessing beyond, right?
Of course.
So that's tough, right? That's tough. I think I'm going to have a future episode with Nikki here soon to kind of like, hey, honey, how's the first month been going? Okay. You know,
I don't want to spill any of that shit. So
no, but I mean, but that'll come from her,
Yeah.
right? That'll come from her side of it. For me personally, it's easy, right? And what I mean easy because um I do this.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I've been doing,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like for 17 years now. And that's not in a cocky way, right? It's in a confident way, right? I have been raised in the Navy to do this, right? I've been mentored to be a fucking chief at sea. And I fucking hate it because I know in my mind I am good at it, right? But it's not where I want to be. But I enjoy being there, if that makes sense.
No, it doesn't. Can you explain?
Um,
Like, what do you mean? Like, you enjoy doing it, right? Because you're good at it, but you hate it. Do you hate it because you're good at it?
no, I hate it because I want to be here.
Of course. Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
That is like I say it all the time, right? Like I would put papers in front of me that said you'll take 2.5 times 3, what, 7.5? Take, you could give me 7.5 minus off of 50. So what are we looking at? 42.5. You could give me 42.5 of my pension, percent of my pension. I would take it right now, right? Because you get 50% of your pension at 20. I would take 42.5 right the fuck now.
Big Navy, if you're listening, hit up Josh.
Hit me up. Let me know. Slide in the DMs. But while you're at it, don't forget, subscribe, like, and share it if it touches your heart. like I would, because this is where I want to be, right? And it's like I hate myself for enjoying when I'm out at sea, because it's like I cheat on my family with this thing that's the fucking Navy, man.
No. You're not cheating on your family at all.
No,
right?
I'm not. But I mean, it feels like it. It feels like
Because you enjoy it.
because I enjoy it.
Okay.
Because like this is what I do.
Yeah.
This is that, like you're just like, this is what I do. This is what my purpose for the 17 years of me being built up by mentors and being put on this path
That's what you're
to
here
be
to
a
do.
fucking. This is what I'm here to do.
Right.
I don't want to do it anymore, but I'm fucking good at it in my mind.
Yeah.
Half decent at least.
Yeah.
If you're listening and you don't think I am, drop shit. Slide in. Let me know. But this is what I'm here for. For this, I hate it because I know I'm good and I enjoy it and I have a good time, right? Even when I'm up till 2 a.m. combating casualties and then I'm back up at 5 a.m, I'm running off for 3 hours, right? Like, where else would I be? The only other place I want to be is here, not doing it.
Right.
But then I'm there and I'm like, shit, this is what we do. This is what the fuck. This is what chiefs do or are supposed to do.
And not
So-
even chiefs, like sailors.
Sailors.
Everybody.
Yes, you know what? Belay my last. We're getting the real Navy on you, right?
Fix that shit.
My bad. That's what sailors do. And that's why I'm like, I've had those conversations this week with junior sailors of like, hey, look, this is what sailors do. Sailors deal with the fucked up underway time, with the fucked up taking all night, taking all day, with the early rising, the late sleeps. Sailors do all this, and the sailors go have fun on Liberty because it's the little chance they got, right?
Right.
And then sailors come back just before the curfew, right? Then sailors will still respond to casualties, right? And I try to impress upon like the junior sailor, like this is what we do. But in my heart, I'm like, as much as I like it, I'm enjoying it, and I'm all of that, right? I sit back and I'm like, fuck, man, still like, I'll take 42.5% right now.
Yeah. So okay. So assuming the Navy doesn't offer you 42.5%,
I don't think they are.
Yeah, probably not. But you do this next 3 years, and then, boom! Like you're gonna retire at the top of your game, right?
Mhm.
Maybe not a Master Chief, right? But that's not in the plan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you retire. You go out at a level that you're proud of. You accomplished a lot in that
Yeah.
time, right? You led sailors. You've done all this. So 3 more years.
No, I'm done. I'm done. And part of that is like, I have to say it, so I stay on that path. Like it's a convincing of self, right? Nikki, I throw shit stupid ideas at her, right? Like, hey, honey, what if I want to stay into like 26? Let's say I pick up a star. What if I want to stay into? And she's like, okay, whatever you want to do, I'm still gonna be here. It's gonna suck, and she knows it's gonna suck, and it sucks really bad right now. But she's never once like threatened me with anything, right? Anything, right? She's never been like, nope,
Yeah,
boom,
you're done when you're done.
yeah. She's like, she's been ride or die, fucking with it forever since ever, right? But in my mind, I have to reaffirm and say it to myself. I am done because
At,
I feel
at 20 though.
at this, well, it's like gonna be like 21, 22, whatever it is. It's I'm not re-enlisting is what it is.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Shit is matched up and it's matched up for a reason.
Yeah.
I'm not unmatching shit.
Yeah.
Like, so it's kind of like I've put myself into the corner that this is it. Right? Because if I would have given myself any leeway to be like, well, what if I do this or that because I might pick up senior or some shit like that, then I would work towards it. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Yeah, so that was my thing before I ended up retiring, right? Like when I got here, I was like, "Oh, fucking getting out." No questions asked, right? And then I got involved with the mess and started doing command shit, and I started like reigniting a motivation I
Yeah.
had. You know what I mean? And so I had that crossroad where I'd been like, if I go back out to sea, I'm anybody that's watching this can hate on me all you want, but there was no doubt in my mind that I was going to pick up a star, right, and then just ride it out until I
Yeah.
couldn't ride any longer. But I didn't want that either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like my it was the same belief. Like I wanted to be here for my family, and you're fortunate enough in that your kids are young enough.
Yeah.
That 3 years from now, you have their whole adolescent life still that you're going to be a part of, and the shore duty you just came from, you were so much a part of their lives, and even now, right? Like I mean, I know you have those arduous 12-hour underways where you go up north, and those sleepovers that you guys call fucking deployments, and that's
too funny.
right? But
yeah,
in reality, you're still at this time away from the family.
yeah,
and the duty night, right?
Mhm.
If it's 3-section duty, what are you at? Like 9-section duty?
4.
4-section duty. So that sucks too, right? And when it was 3, that's even worse. There's the only thing worse than 3-section duty is port and starboard. And if you're port and starboard, your command's fucking up. But man, 3-section duty sucks. And for those people that don't know about 3-section duty, that means that on your day off, you're so freaking tired that you can't, there's nothing you want to do. You want to be there for your family, but you're so exhausted that you can't be there for them the way that you want to be there for them. And then the next day, you're getting ready to come back on duty again.
Yep.
You know, and if you're in a cycle, a work cycle that you're going to be working 10 hours a day or 12 hours a day and then going back on duty overnight to a 12-hour day, right? That shit is not cool, man. That there's nothing conducive to family development about that schedule at all.
Nope.
And yeah, so I didn't bring that question up to hate on you for wanting to get out at 20.
Yeah.
I just wanted to find out how that transition was from shore duty that you had at Nywick to now being on a seagoing command.
So like to answer that, I guess, it was nice because I did spend almost a year, like 9 months, 10 months of like just in the building sitting around.
Yeah, meeting the crew, but not.
Well, not even my crew, because like everyone knows, I got pulled from the crew I was supposed to be on to a different crew, right? So it was nice because I was still coming home at 12, right? There's little to nothing to needing to be done, reports, different shit, and like that, right? And so it was cool. Hold on, don't go nowhere yet, because I got to go too. We're gonna take a break here in about 2 minutes, people. So the screen's gonna be like just blank as shit for a little bit. Let me just finish this thought.
Yeah, do it.
so there was that year, that buffer, right, where it was. But then when I got shifted to the crew I'm at now, it was like boom, reality check.
Yeah.
4 months, I'm gonna be on the ship,
Yeah.
right? Um, and so now the last 3 weeks, besides like the seasick part from last night, my landlubber legs, it it really hasn't been that bad, you know. It hasn't been that bad for me to turn on like
Yeah,
the
right.
you
Go
know
road. Like I'm at sea. Like
yes.
this is what I'm doing.
I would definitely say like it's been harder on personal family life because I'm not good at like, 30 minutes of driving home is not enough for me to turn it off,
Right. Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Um I don't turn it off.
Yeah.
It's hard like I be fucking up. I be coming home and I'm the day is and the pace is so fast, right? I'm only at full throttle, 500 miles an hour, right? Brain firing,
Yeah.
right? I think fast, I speak fast, I move fast, I talk fast, I'm acting fast, like it's going. And I come home and it's still
Still
going,
going. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and I be fucking up. And it's not like say I be fucking up like there's been huge things or anything, but I know, right? And then I'm used to speaking a certain way with sailors,
Right. Of course.
and then I speak a certain way at home, and it's wrong, right? And I'm checking myself, then I'm getting checked as my fucking beautiful wife should check my ass,
Yeah.
right? And then I'm sitting there, and then I'm just thinking like, oh, I'm fucking up.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And then it's like, all right, well, let me just, yeah. One thing that really helps is like a lot of like, I'll go in the backyard, I'll play fetch with the dog, and I'll just like that. That's when I'm really trying to be like, woosah.
Slow down. Slow down.
Fucking like, look, man, like, look at this house, look at the view, like, life is good. Remind yourself what you're doing it for. Remind yourself that you got to turn it off when you come home,
Right.
and try to come back in better.
Right.
I'm not there. And Nikki knows it. It's not a secret, right? She knows me better than anyone, so she knows like it's hard for me.
Yeah, but it's something you definitely have the advantage of over most people in your situation. Is your wife is awesome, and
She's pretty cool.
I don't know her
Pretty
as
cool.
well as most of your friends or whatever, but the way that I've heard you talk about her, like I got no reason but to respect her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's good. That man. That's a positive that you have that so many people don't, and it's a blessing.
Yeah, it is. And with that, hey, let's take a quick break. Liquids have been ingested, and we need to use the potty. So if you're watching and you want to take a quick break, just you go use the head too if you need to or whatever. We're gonna go use the bathroom, not the head, and we'll be right back. I don't have a special screen for you, so just enjoy this wall right here. We'll be right back. Oh, okay. Hey, welcome back. Let me get my headphones on. I can't hear myself. All right, hey, who we got in the chat still? Who's still with us? I got one viewer. Is it Gary? Is it Austin? Chat's finishing up. So as we were just saying, like, let me know in the chat, like, how do you decompress when you get home? What is it? Well, you got any cool tactics? Any advice for? Oh, hold on. I forgot to hit record on the button. So I was saying, how do you decompress when you get home? Do you got any good tactics? Any like any rituals that you have when you get home to decompress and get into the family mode or anything like that? Like I was saying, I get home and I don't like to do it, but it has to be done. I make sure I go outside and pick up the dog shit from the day, throw it in the bag. They can go out at the end of the week and, play with the dog some. Nikki takes him for a run. Cattle dog, so high energy level. So we got to exercise him a lot and keep him moving. So, what? Oh, hold on.
I just said we know you ain't running. Yep, that happened.
Damn, Chad. Actually, I ran twice this underway period.
Only because
on the treadmills. A third time if you want to count run into the casualty. Yeah. I was moving fast. It hurt my ankle. Probably because I'm fat. That's why it hurt. Austin is still in the chat. Thanks for hanging with us, Austin. So like as we were talking about, Chad, like it's tough, man. Like like you know how it is.
Yeah.
Like it's.
But it's different for everybody, and that's why I asked you. You know what I mean? Because my coping mechanisms and my ways of managing that are clearly going to be different than yours, right?
Yeah.
And so I wanted to know what your thoughts were on it and how you handled it. Like, I know for me, like my coping mechanisms have varied a wide range of ways, right? Like I used to run 3 to 5 miles a day. You know what I mean? Like, and that was probably when I was at my mental, like the healthiest I was mentally, right? Because that would give me everything I needed to clear my head, get all that anxiety or whatever it was out of my system, and I could come home and just relax.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I've also used things like alcohol, like cigars, right? That was a big thing for me. And I just noticed, like, I smoked my first cigar tonight before I came over here. I smoked one when I was in New Mexico at my test event. And then before that, it's been like a month and a half. I used to smoke one every single day, at least one, sometimes two, but guaranteed one every day. And I haven't needed it. And need is a pretty shitty word to use there. So there was never a necessity for it.
Yeah.
But I felt like that was something I needed to do to go out, just be by myself, clear my head, have a cigar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Talk on the phone to whoever I wanted to, like whatever it was. Yeah. So for me, that's changing a little bit, and it's good. Like it's not something that I tried to do. Like I don't give a fuck. I like cigars, so I'll smoke one every day if I want to. I just haven't felt the urge to go out and do that to clear my head and do that stuff. And then when I was in New Mexico, I was afraid of getting nabbed by the cartel and getting organs stolen from me or something like that.
So do you think a lot of that was like the stress induced?
Yeah. So I will say for me, it was stress induced, but self-induced stress, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right. So like I was finding things to be stressed out about.
Yeah.
And putting that on myself when I didn't need to. Just let things happen and let's figure it out. We have a goal. This is our goal. We're going to get there. We don't need to be stressed that we hit a roadblock or we hit a hurdle. You know what I mean? We just got to get over it or around it.
Yeah.
But also it was clearly a habit, right?
Yeah.
I got used
sure.
to having that cigar and doing that thing. And I'm not saying that I never will again, because who knows, like from tonight forward, I could have a cigar again every day. And it is what it is.
But isn't it important to recognize like the why you're having that? Because I mean, my little fat ass, I know that I emotionally eat whatever the emotional is, right? Like if I'm feeling stressed, which I'll like be like, I never feel stressed. But I know, like, when it was a quote unquote stressful day,
Yeah.
I'm like, and when I'm eating it, I know like I'm just eating this to fucking eat it because fuck it, right? If I'm happy, right, having a great time, yeah, I'm a fucking and we're celebrating. I'm gonna eat more and consume more because I'm fucking happy.
Yeah.
We're celebrating, you know. It's shit like that. So I get it. It's one of those like I don't need that, but I did work out a couple times underway. It felt good. It was one of those like and I'm not like a huge workout person. I can't be like, oh, I'm getting back to my grind. Like,
Right.
no, it's just, but it's one of those like, okay, that
Felt
helped.
good, yeah.
That felt good. But then also, when you're on those duty days or whatever, I've been trying to get like a workout in every duty day. You could get that workout in, but if you're getting constant like radio calls and,
Right.
check-ins, it interrupts your break time.
Yep.
And it's like, fuck, man, like, all right, well, I guess I gotta go do this. So, that workout's over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just kind of the way that is. Kind of going back to like how I handled it. I mean, like I've handled it fine. You know what I mean? From shore back to sea, with some of that intermission there and like slow rolling it into it. But uh, I think so much of it is just because, like I said, like I've been built for this.
Right.
Right. And I don't mean that again, like I don't mean that in a cocky way. I just mean like my mentors and my career have built me for this.
And also your personality, right?
Yeah, I mean that's yes.
So
Yes.
there's a dozen people, maybe more, that I know that we've talked about them so many times off camera, off of YouTube or whatever, but those people that are like that's their life, like style. You know what I mean? Is leadership and is this grind of the Navy, right? And we've talked about their reasons for staying in past 22, past 24, past 26, right? Okay, your kids are this age, you're still going out to sea. Like why? Like why wouldn't you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so there's a lot to think about, and you're absolutely right. Your personality style is that type. However, it's being curtailed by your passion for your family,
Yeah.
right? And that's awesome. I love it because for me, there's nothing more important to me than the upbringing of my kids. You know what I mean? I got 3 boys, and I got to teach those boys how to be better men than I am.
Yeah.
And that's going to be hard because I'm a pretty good dude. You know what I mean? Yeah, I know
So they say.
I know we're joking, right?
Yeah.
But for real, like
Yeah.
that's the passion that takes over my life right now. And for me, man, I'm dealing with some shit with my oldest. I'm dealing with some shit with my middle son. My youngest is on track, but he's the youngest, so maybe he's supposed to be on track. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I can't fucking fathom what my life would be like with my kids right now if I was out to sea.
Yeah.
Or if I was doing what you were doing, duty every 4 days
Yeah.
and going out to sea. Whether it's for 12 hours, like you guys do your sleepovers up north, or if it was for a deployment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine.
I came home today and I got home, kids were at school. Niggy like literally jumped in my arms, right? She asked me if I want to pick up the kids. I was like, no, I just want to lay down for like the 20 minutes that's going to take you to go get them. Didn't lay down, started talking shop with my father-in-law and stuff, because he's here now also visiting, right? Seeing his wife, who's been gone. Everyone knows he's been on the podcast, old SK. So, talk shop, old Mass Chief, Chief, like, hey son, how's the underway going? So, talking with him about it and everything. And kids walk in and it's like, it's so funny. Michael's just like, he walks in and he's like, Dad. Kind of like, what the fuck are you doing home? But, like in the cutest little, little boy
That's
way,
awesome.
And then Penny's like, she comes behind him. She's like, Dad. And she like shoves him out of the way and like runs over.
Yeah.
Right. And jumps up on my lap and everything. And I was like emotional about it. Right. Because she's like saying, I missed you. And oh, you don't have to go to work, do you? And we tell them like when I'm on the ship, I'm fighting pirates, and
Right.
so she's like, did you beat up the pirates and this and that, and then she's like, I don't want you to go to work in her cute little baby girl voice, and it was like it making me teary eyed and emotional about it because, and then Michael come and jumps up, and so I got them both like sitting on the island with me, and they're just hugging me, and I'm like, yeah. But again, it goes back to like I said, like I like this is what I want. But if I wasn't gone for the week, would they be doing that? They'd be excited to see me, but it wouldn't be to that level. But that's not their fault. It's my fault because I was the one gone for the week. And like your face, right? Like your face is like it's not, but it's like, well, it I have to go do that because I have to help provide, and I have to contribute, and this is the life I've been living, long before they ever came along, and
Right.
it's the life I've chosen. But like it's still like I say it's my fault because uh it it would be my fault. It's my fault now, but it would definitely be my fault if I continued another enlistment,
Yes.
right? And I continue,
Yes.
and it's like I'm putting them through this. Right now they didn't have a choice, right? Because they're born into it. In 4 years, when they're like, "Hey, you want to reenlist?" It would completely 100% be my fault the next time I had that moment for them after I made if I would have made a decision of yes, I'm reenlisting, right? It would absolutely be my fault that if I came home or I was at home disciplining them and they're like, "Fuck you, I hate you, Dad." That's my fault. It doesn't matter how much I'm providing for them. It doesn't matter how much I'm buying them shit to try to make it better. None of that matters. Them being angry with me, not liking me, disliking me, them fucking up in school because they have daddy issues now, all of that. If I choose, and I'm not going to, you listening to me, listen to me in the future. I'm not re-enlisting, all right? It would all be my fault. And I cannot, like, it hurt me today. I'm not going to be hurt like that to a 10th power in the future. So I cannot make that decision to re-enlist in the future.
Right.
If all that long makes sense.
It makes perfect sense. And to me, not only does it make sense, but you're doing it for the right reason, right? Like, I joined the Navy. I planned on doing 6 years of getting out, going to college, and figuring out my life, right? I got married a year later. I had kids 5 years later. So by the time my 6 years was up, the fuck was I going to do?
Yeah.
I did not in any way set myself up to take care of my family outside of the Navy, right? So here I go, re-enlist. And then we go to 10 years. And at 10 years, guess what I didn't do? I didn't set myself up to take care of my family to be able to provide outside of the Navy. So I re-enlisted. So now I'm coming to the end of that re-enlistment. Well, then what happens? Oh, shit. Chad gets divorced, right? Now I'm paying way more than I was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so, but again, I wasn't prepared to take care of my family outside of the Navy. And that just happened last year. We talked about it on the podcast. You know what I mean? Where things changed a little bit, everything
Yep.
shifted, got a little bit more. I'm gonna just say it fair, right? A little bit more equal, and it's been a beautiful thing since getting out and not going back out to sea. The best thing I could have ever done for my kids,
Yeah.
for myself, for my wife now, right? Like, is it easy? No, it's not easy, right? I still got kid drama to deal with. I got
Yeah.
baby mama drama.
But you're
to deal with.
there.
But I'm here to deal with it. I'm not out at sea, like trying to talk my wife into like, hey, so this is what we got to do for your stepkids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you got to deal with this person. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm here. So I can deal with it all. And thank God I was blessed with this awesome job that I have now where I can provide for everybody.
Yeah.
Provide for everybody, not just monetarily, but emotionally. As a mentor, I do my damnedest to try and mentor these kids in a way that they can understand and develop. You know what I mean? And again, I'll go back to it is not easy, and it hasn't been. And my oldest is absolutely testing every fiber of my being, um, and he knows that he's doing it, which is more frustrating, right? I, I got to be careful how I say things, but yeah, it's very difficult. However, like you said, I'm here,
Yeah.
so I'm in the situation. I'm very hands on, very much aware of what's going on around both parties. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to solve problems from an email that was 3 days earlier. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that problem still exists, plus
Plus, now
plenty more.
whatever I just introduced by my response to that email that was 3 days ago, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? That was
Yeah.
always the biggest problem on the submarine is like sometimes you get an email that's 10 days old and you respond to it, that problem's already been resolved and worked out. And then you throw some new fire into the mix trying to help the situation and then find out you did nothing but exacerbate the problem.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, fuck. I was just trying to help. That's all I was trying to do.
Yeah, that shit is tough, man. I don't know. Like I think we're doing pretty good. Again, fucking Nikki is otherworldly
Yeah.
when it comes to holding it down. Not that everyone has, and not everyone has. Um, everyone experiences hard times, right?
Yeah.
Not difficulties and not bad days, right? Although those words apply too, but sometimes it's just hard,
Yeah.
and sometimes days are great,
Right.
right? All that aside, though, like, and this is what I tell people too. It's uh, like I couldn't imagine having had kids with anyone else because she's that good of like a partner and wife to be a mother to my kids and a wife to me that can hold it down while I'm doing this fucking Navy shit.
Yeah.
Right?
While she's doing her shit.
Yes.
Yeah. Because
Wow.
it's not just that you're doing your Navy shit, which is very often the case with so many spouses, right? And this is not a knock on military spouses, so please don't take it that way. But
it could be if it touches your heart.
Yeah. And then if you do, like and subscribe, right? Okay, there you go.
Catching on, Chad.
So, no, but I mean, like a lot of the military spouses, they don't have a career that they're pursuing. They don't have a job that they're pursuing. Their pursuit is that of raising their kids, and that's awesome. No hate whatsoever, right? But hearing your wife talk about, and you guys have talked about this numerous times about like ombudsman interaction, command interaction, stuff like that, and she's like, yeah, I don't need that. And I don't want that. Like, if I don't know you, I don't need to know you just because my husband's going out to sea.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I got my family. You know what I mean? And then, so that perspective that she carries with her, that attitude, that, whatever it is, that she brings to the table, right? It's incredible. Like, the confidence that she has, the ability that she has to take care of her situation without, not that she never needs help, right? But she has her circle of people that she can count on when she needs it.
Yeah.
If she needs it, right? It's awesome. And I hear her talk about like the ombudsman stuff, and I think like, well, she is so right in everything she says with that for her.
Yeah.
Right? But there's not a lot of women built like her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She's built different, and my kids are gonna love that. But she is, you know what I mean? Like she handles it, and it's not a thing to her. Like, oh shit, I got a challenge. Okay, well, guess what? This is what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna take care of it, and boom, it's done, and we move forward.
Yeah.
She doesn't shut down, right, and then just start calling everybody she who can help me out of this situation. No, she takes care of it, and she does it.
And you know that we'll segue. We'll start wrapping this up. Going on 2.5 hours, right?
We got 2.5 more.
And no, I don't.
Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen.
Tired.
Stay tuned.
Well, we'll do 2.5 more on the next episode. You saw me post it, and that'll segue into this, right? We got an upcoming episode about divorce, right? And I have someone that already in the pocket that wants to come on and talk about it. And this is like, I guess, somewhat of a spoiler. Tune in and subscribe, right? And follow us on iTunes or Apple Podcasts and Spotify, everywhere you get stream your favorite podcasts. But it's like I forget where I was going. Got sidetracked.
Talking about the next episode.
Yeah, but like, so the episode coming up about divorce, but like, she's never threatened that, right? She's just always been down to ride, for whatever.
Yeah, and it's
where I guess going back to the ombudsman thing, it's like the caliber of woman that it takes to stay with their or man, okay, to stay with their active duty spouse in any branch for the 20 plus years, it's uncommon. And that is why divorce rates are so fucking high. And now, sometimes people be fucking up. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's just the life that they no longer want, right? And that's why I say that caliber of spouse, that it takes. Looking at my mother-in-law, right, to go for those 30 plus years with my father-in-law, right? Like, fuck, and then to raise a daughter that is that live that life. I've said this a million times. A daughter that can do the same thing, that is ready to do it for her man.
Right.
Gary, yes, we're still on. Like that caliber of woman or man, if you're out there, right? I would like to meet a man that is a retired spouse of 20 plus years to a female active duty service member, right? Like it's so uncommon, because you hear so many people talk about so many chiefs, man, so many throughout the Navy. It doesn't matter what ranks, right? Divorces. Like just over and over, right? And even if it's someone on their second divorce and it's their second wife at the retirement ceremony or something, everyone knows it's the second one, right? And it's just like, I mean, good or bad, it's just like, damn, man, yep, he didn't make it through, right? Like, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's just the real thing. It's life.
You said that, and I was just thinking of all the
ones you've been to,
like the second wives, right? Like usually it's a white chief with an Asian wife, and that's number 2.
Well, mine's number 1.
Mine's number 2, right? But I was thinking of all the times I've been to those command parties.
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever. I was laughing.
No, I've told people that plenty of times before. The funny joke. It was like we were when my mother-in-law came and landed, when she came to join us here in San Diego, right? I took her to go see Nikki while Nikki was at work, and I had forgotten my ID, so we used her fucking retired dependent ID, or right, and so she busted out and she looks at it, and the fucking gate guard gave obvious looks, straight up obvious looks. She was like looking at, she like looked at me like, and looked at her. And then was like, oh, here's another fucking. And then like she like kind of like, damn, she got 2 kids too. Like, it was just all obvious. I was like, yeah, man, that's me. That's me. Retired master chief this young. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah. Like, anyways, it was fucking hilarious. But again, the divorce talk is for another episode that's coming, sometime soon, I hope. And, hey, if you're listening to this and you want to be a guest or you want to phone in and share a story, let me know and we could coordinate that and everything. But it's just like, again, that the caliber of woman or man of spouse that it takes to go through a whole career, right? We're talking about like a 20 plus career. Cause me and Nikki, we met, I'd only been in 4 years. That's my whole career.
Right. That's still a career.
Yeah. That, sometimes people meet later and they've been together, 6-10 years. Right. That's a long time. Yeah. That's a big difference, though. It's a big difference when when you have people that were like, like when I met Nikki, I was a third class waiting to get frocked to second, right? I found out when I was in transit that I had made second. She's literally been with me, like, from the fucking bottom.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
As second class nobody, trying to work it out and make it, she saw me for years looking at first class results with no name on it.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah, probably a long time for you, right?
It was a while. Yeah. I was a little dumb, right? Still am. and watching me through those struggles, right? She's not this there's some wives out there, like, they're with their man and God bless them, but like there's been no hardship. Yeah. At least, in my, very opinionated objective, view. I don't know what goes on in those houses and stuff, but like, you know what I mean?
Long-term hardship, right? Like,
right.
Numerous sea tours.
Yes.
Right. Yeah,
yes. Yeah. That's more accurately,
You're welcome.
Pointed there, Thank you. That's why I have you on. But it's like, yeah, she's been there through as the girlfriend of like, oh, there he goes again. Gone for a week. Gone for a week. Gone for a week. Up at 5, up at 4, home at 20. Like, she's seen it all.
Right.
And so it's just, I just look at her like, fuck, man, like, please, honey, if you're watching, if you're listening, please, honey, just 3 more years put up with me while I wrap up this shit. Yeah. I know it's my fault. I know I make it hard. I know I'm not the best when I come home. Just please make it 3 more years and
let's be done with
fuck it. And we're good. Yeah. Right? 15 months detailer, detailers told me, yeah, 15 months I'll detail you he's not going to be there, so I'm going to have to fucking deal with someone else. But 15 months left after I'm done with here. It's like, yeah, as long as you want to stay in San Diego, we'll detail you in local in San Diego. And I'm checking in that bitch like, hey, I'm checking in because I'm fucking checking out. Because I'm not going to be here. Like, yep. I'm working on medical. Don't assign me shit. I'm not doing it. I will fuck you over. You will have bad programs.
You're going to get a bad turnover because I'm Blue Crew, bitch. Right?
Yeah.
Bring that back.
Yeah, to bring it back full circle. Yep. When I leave here and I'm going somewhere else, who did it? Blue did it.
Yeah.
That's what we say.
The other crew.
The other crew, that third one, them motherfuckers. Anyways, Chad, what else you got? Let's wrap this shit up. Hey, Gary, Austin. Gary says Annie's been with him the whole time. Yeah, she has, Gary, and I don't know fucking why, bro. You ugly as shit, brother. But I love you still. Gary, fucking Chad, outro. What you got?
Just thank you, man. I appreciate every opportunity I have to come over here and just shoot the shit with you and talk with you about whatever topic. So I'm looking forward to what you got coming up. And thank you so much for letting me be a part of this.
Oh, man, thanks for coming by. And, I'm down to like bi-weekly episodes every other week, 2 a month. And it's, if you're still listening, I appreciate it. If you're still sharing it because it touches your heart, I appreciate it. Please stick with us. The next 3 years doing this are going to be really rough. Don't know the schedule. Deployments are around the corner. I'm thinking about how I'm going to do that, all that good stuff. But, again, thanks for joining us. Don't forget, if it touches your heart, like it, subscribe it, share it with a friend so it can touch their heart too. And for more information on how you can support the podcast, please visit us at anchor.fm/Bravo Zulu Podcast. The information, views, and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely of me, Joshua Moore, and that guy, and the individuals involved, and do not necessarily represent the DOD, the DON, or those of the respected institutions or